Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Octane Online Racing Simrigs Sprint Series here for round 4 at Zolder. My name is Cameron Fistlethwaite, and I'm joined together by David Marsh, and we've got Benjamin Hingwit on the cameras. The wonderful Belgium track here is probably the second most favourite Belgian track in all of sim racing history, but looking forward to 60 minutes of bumps and curves, aren't we, David?
Oh, Cameron, how are we, mate? Yeah, I've never done a race here before, but I have met the curbs quite intimately, we could say, and the wall. I don't know how I feel about it. It's going to be interesting.
Indeed. So we'll be kicking off with split yellow and got split green later on tonight. We have a new fresh batch of commentators as well, so look forward to that. Looks like we've got qualifying underway now, and we're following Glory Babby, our championship leader. He's won the last 2 races here as well at Alton Park and Monza, so he's looking on strong form, ready to take this championship all the way to the end in the AMG. Good car for it as well. Very strong here at Zolder. Oh, a little bit wide, probably not taking the chicane as he needed to, but not sure if this one is a valid or not. I think ACC graphics not looking too strong right now. Coming around now. We have to apologize in advance as well for the pronunciation of many of these quarter names. They are suitably not very English friendly. Mostly ending box, which I assume means curve or corner. I apologize in advance.
I haven't even looked at the corner names, actually, Cameron, so I'll have to take your lead on this one.
Oh, you're daring man at heart. I see. You don't want to take my lead. You see, Glory Babby is starting his first, true flying lap at 28.0. So the last one wasn't valid, but the rest of the field comes around. Bruno Ellis in the Porsche, currently second in the championship. The other one to watch currently heads up to timing field. Speaking of Porsches, we're following Michael Babb, head of the P2 in the Silver Championship. We're looking to a strong case, especially if Logan Burton gets a mid-season promotion. Should look like he has avoided for the most part so far. So it looks like it's going to be between Burton and Babb for silver honours. Going well. Just 53 points behind Logan Burton as well. We got Jay Parker right now on the pro-am drivers, and car number 216 in the McLarens. The McLarens have been looking pretty strong around here at Zolder. They're obviously running with LFM Bop right now, and despite being mid-engine cars not being the friendliest over the curbs, the McLaren can hack it sometimes. It's not going to say it's a smooth ride, but the McLaren has shown some good speed around here, especially through the first sector.
I gave go the other night, and I sort of slightly just stepped out on the curb, and it bit pretty hard.
Yep, McLaren be pretty unwieldy. Speaking unwieldy, you got Cafiel Slade here in his Audi that he loves so much. That doesn't love him back. Audi's not too strong around here either. The MK, we've got many Porsches here in split yellow, and the Porsche does tend to go well round here. And Zolder, currently 3/10 up on his time, should put him up into P5 perspective. But see, the times are going to be moving very, very quickly. You can get a lot of laps done here in qualifying at Zolder. Only a 90-second lap. Luke Johnson now in his Castrol-coloured McLaren, as we all know and love. Currently 4/10 up on his time, just entering the first of the many chicanes. Gets it nicely braked on time. See how much entry code takes quite a lot. None of the exit curve as well. And it's about even on his Delta so far. So he's pretty happy with that. He's got a few cars up ahead for traffic. Maybe a smidge deep into the into the midsection and gets a little bit squirrely on exit as well. Fastest lap for Glory Bobby at 27.8 straight after that, so that's a very, very good time for him so far. AMG is looking really strong here. Jump back to Liam K now. And about 2/10 up, going into the final chicane. Yeah, it's nicely stopped. Found the brakes can be a little bit marginal towards the last chicane as well, especially if you're a little bit got lumps of ham for feet like I do. And it comes across the line, goes up to P8, 7/10 off Glory Babby's time.
That was a beautiful description you had there, Cameron. Lumps of ham for feet.
Yeah, we call it lead foot. Not much finesse, where you just kind of stamp on the, you got TC ABS, you might as well use them. Let them, them do the work.
That's basically how I roll.
We all have our own different driving styles. That's what's going great about sim racing. It's Daniel Webb and the McLaren for Red Rebel Racing. They're quite fetching, sort of almost Martini-esque yellow and red sort of spirals. 3/10 up on his lap should put him up to around P6, I reckon. And just P7 in for the McLaren. So we got McLaren's Pecori here, 6/10 up on his time. So a lot of time gained, a little bit square on exit, and oh, it's already gone. Definitely got the last part of Turlem box all wrong, and it's, there's the time comes in heaps around here, but it's equally as so when you get it wrong, it can all go in one corner. But plenty of time still left. We're just under 7 minutes to go. Hello to everyone in chat as well. Yep, Sprints is back. Toto, David Marsh is in chat. He Major's in the booth as well. Don't need to call his name out. Project Delta, I know that's you, Joshua Holmes. Lightning O's, it's Aiden Squires, Dieboz, and of course our lovely Ben Curtis. Thank you to everyone who's joining us tonight. Thank you to Simrigs as well for supporting this great series. We're obviously on the back of our 12-hour after having a break, but great to see so much effort. I can't remember how much did we raise? Was it 15, 17k for Moloch? It was a great showing from the whole community regardless.
It was definitely a significant amount, and it was an awesome day. Yeah, good amount of money raised for our Lord and Saviour.
Indeed, it's great to see. Coming now, looking at Breno Ellis, he is invalid on this time. A little bit up. I'm not too sure if that's just a bug in the timing things, because he looks like he's still going at it. And if he wasn't up, I think he'd be backing off from the rear of Luke Johnson's Castrol McLaren. Trying to make a bit more of a gap for himself. I think he feels like he is on a valid. It might be just the AC bug, but he's gone a little bit deep into the first part of the last chicane and certainly lost a lot on the exit. 3/10 down. Here, wait, start a new lap. Let's try again. You see, it's Brenner Ellis only 2 100ths ahead of Glory Babby. With a shout out to Cafiel Slate there, the silver car in the Audi, the ever troublesome Audi. Currently P3 right now, doing a very, very good job.
Oh, Lukey Johnson managed to nab pole. He's up at the moment.
Definitely up enough to steal it right now. Left, right, and right again. Not in that order. McLaren going too strong right now. just under 310s, losing a little bit. He might have scrubbed a little bit too much speed, but gets it stopped nicely for the hairpin. Gains a lot of time on the entry and carries the speed well enough through to keep it up all the way through the exit as well, and find a temp as well. It's looking good for Luke Johnson right now. Gets it stopped past the 100 mark, cuts it nicely on the entry, gets it nicely done on the exit, loses a little bit of time, but squarely it and keeps it up. We're going to be 4 tenths, and it is going to be surely P1, yes, for Luke Johnson. We're 27.675. But Glory Babby now, oh, look at it, equally 4 tenths to boot as well, and surely this is going to move the goalpost head. It's going to drop down to 3 tenths, but surely enough for pole provisionally for Glory Babby. Yep, 27.5. So it's going down slowly but surely. Let's see what Breno Ellis can respond with. Hello to everyone in chat. Hello to Jan, Kamaris as well, Stick Dev. Thank you everyone for being here this Wednesday night. Wow, lots of curb necessarily taken for the Porsche. Thankfully doesn't lose too much time with balance. There's going to be about 2 tenths up. Luke Johnson's parked up and says that's done for those sets of tyres, and might try and get out for another run. He has the time. It's quite sunset evening, so they won't be too hot out there. It drops the wheels in the dirt a little bit for Breno Ellis. Gets it stopped nicely up to 2 tenths now, but it bleeds off back to 1 tenth. Unfortunately, going to drop down to at least about 5 100s coming into the last chicane, and see how he can respond now. Nicely turned in, not too much entry curb to make sure they can get the power and the power. So it's only going to be a few thousandths gain, which won't be enough for pole, and we'll probably keep him in 3rd place. So for now, valid lap there for Glory Babby. He's going to have 2 more chances at the chariot to secure his pole position. It's Breno Ellis now. Got a few cars in front of him. Hopefully get out of the way. And frankly, I don't think Breno came off the throttle, so thankfully hasn't lost any time. Just lost a little bit of a, probably frustration with those cars being a little bit all over the place. Let's take now from his perspective how he takes the chicane. Quite early turn in, takes a lot of entry curve, takes a lot of exit curve, kind of have to with the Porsche, and it's just unfortunately where the Porsche loses out a lot of time. Now down for the Terman block. Terman, I give up with that one, frankly. It's one corner name for about 3-4 corners, so sod it.
Chicane.
Yeah, chicane. Wibbly wobbly bit. But hairpin, we know that one. And gets it nicely stopped. Lots of time getting it, but he's a little bit wide, and frankly hasn't lost. He's basically lost everything that he gained. So yeah, it was a little bit. He had a little bit of a 4-wheel slide as he transitioned off the brakes onto turn in. But he will have one more chance. Now, might get a slight improvement on this lap over a couple of hundreds, but won't be enough for to move him any positions. Glory Babby now going even quicker for the 47 AMG. Quick guy with a very quick car around here. 1.5 tenths up, and it's going to be a 27, just under a 27.4. Looking very strong for Glory. And this lap's invalid apparently for Luke Johnson. I'm not too sure if that's still the bug that we know and love, but regardless, he is 1/4 second down so far after the first sector, so it's a lot of time to make up, and a lot of time to make up even further if he wants to go take pole position. And he got a lot of it back, but then lost it all on the final part of the Terman block. Breno Ellis down though, speaking of which, is looking very good. 2 tenths up right now, touching on the 3 tenths, but losing a little bit on the exit as he comes through. And Boldenbergen Hashblatt is the hairpin's name, but we're calling it the hairpin. Gets the hairpin right, maintains his 2 tenth advantage. He's got to find a lot at the last part to displace Babby, but he might be able to get himself onto the front row ahead of Luke Johnson. Nicely turned in for the last part. Good transition for the second, and not too wide to lose any times. Nearly 3 tenths. It's going to be close, but not enough for Breno Ellis to take pole, but P2, he'll be pretty happy with that. It's still very capable going forward in the race. So that's going to be Glory Babby on pole ahead of Breno Ellis, our 2 championship leaders leading the grid as well. Followed by Luke Johnson in P3 for the Castrol McLaren. Cafiel Slade, great job by him in the Audi for P4. Brian Kong in the Ferrari for P5. Wesley Yao in P6. A very good performance from Wesley Yao, very strong in the Porsche in P6. And we got Smiles in the Lambo P4. Pretty good performance to get P7 for the Lamborghini. We were talking before, Lambo's not great around here. Webb as well in P8 for the McLaren. Winton for P9 in the Ferrari. And Dylan McDowell rounds out the 3rd Porsche for the top 10 in P10 to 13. David.
Nice looking clean Red Bull livery right there, isn't it?
That is Dylan, I believe. Always ripping the Red Bull colours. Does a really good job. Who's come on, play some bets. I want to see some punts from you this time. Not those punts, but the I want to see you. You got to call someone. Who's your prediction?
Hey, look. After the how would we say this? The prodigious calls that I've had in the first half of the season. Look, I've got to go Glory Babby. He's pretty strong in the quali so far. Alice is there to keep him honest, so she could be quite interesting.
Definitely interesting for sure, especially at this place. Now, doing one lap, doing the speed for one lap is one thing, but for 60 minutes now, with one mandatory stop for fueling, is going to be another thing. And we've seen a lot of drivers who are quick here, but also tend to sometimes can throw it away by making mistakes, getting the chicanes wrong. It can only take, it takes very little to throw your race away here. Be interesting to see Michael Babb going for his sort of no qualifying strat, I believe, in the bin chicken car.
God, I love that livery. It's awesome.
Yes, I think he's given a bit more definition, a bit more emphasize the features on that one as to his. Of course, he would.
Why not? It gets people talking, doesn't it?
Yeah. And speaking of, last night we also announced the 2025 Octane Online Racing, the Round the World Endurance Series as well. 4 countries, 4 rounds. We're going to start with 12 hours at Kota with 2 times acceleration, 8 hours at Zolder, so get ready to learn this place for 8 hours. Whoa. We wanted the Zolder Endurance, and now we got it.
Yeah, it's one to nail the curb for 1 lap as opposed to 60, and then 8 hours.
Yep, gonna be something. Kailami 9 hours, and then Silverstone 12 hours, also with 2 times progression. And you'll find more details on the website. But excited to get some more endurance. Our endurance season kicking off, and yeah, 12 hours at Kota. It's gonna be definitely gonna be interesting as well. I'm not sure if we've done an enduro at Kota yet. Yeah, Zolder. I know we tried. I think it was tried in the past to do a Zolder enduro. And now it seems like we're gonna lock it in. But that's then. This is now. We got split yellow ready to go for 60 minutes.
So you asked me, Cameron, what are your calls on who's going to take it out?
Oh, gonna take out the boards or take off the curbs. Everyone, I think.
Or the wall, yeah.
Or the wall. Yeah.
I meant the race, you silly goose.
Yeah, it's hard to look past Glory, but for namesake, I'm gonna put Luke Johnson in there as they go double file. And just to note as well, this is gonna be fixed time for refueling, so all refueling, no matter if it's 1 liter or 100. Actually, no, I think if it's a 1 liter or anything under 25 seconds, it's gonna take 25 seconds regardless of your stop. So it's set to take tires. This is gonna be at a pretty high, especially with how rough you kind of run them here. But double file right now. It's slow. It is quite a tumultuous turn 1. It's going to be very interesting to see. Surely Breno Ellis is going to want to get the jump. There's going to be green flag soon, and they go. And it looks like it's a good jump from Breno Ellis, and not so good from Glory Babby. He has taken the lead already into turn 1 with Capiel Slade already putting things on that. I think that's Liam K in the pink Porsche already gone round. As we go back to Slade now on the inside of Breno Ellis, Glory Babby in the AMG. It's going to be on the outside, and surely Cafiel's going to have this one all day and done. And surely the AMG is going to have to look in his mirror now as Luke Johnson gets a good exit. And it's going to draw alongside now. Going to be on the outside coming up to the chicane. Not the right place to be, and folds back into the line. Good driving from all the ones ahead. But yeah, Breno Ellis takes a lead.
That was an interesting start, wasn't it?
Absolutely. It looks like the AMG of Glory just got a little bit napping there at the start. It is a little bit of an unconventional starting area. It's a little bit late. It's quite narrow and quite an awkward turn 1 as well. Brian Kong in there at P5. But I think Daniel Webb just behind him in the Red Rebel Racing McLaren. Lots of work to do, not in Glory Babby's plan, as the McLaren there goes up the inside of the BMW right now. And it looks like everyone has managed to have a relatively clean start. No threat of a safety car at all. I've said it, I've cursed it now.
Oh, have you taken my my curse? Have you?
You know, you gotta get it. You gotta get it in there. You know, if you want it, you know, it's free for all right now. There are many, to be fair, we've got 58 minutes left to curse the rest of the race, so, you know, you got to take them while the opportunities are, got to strike while the iron's hot. There's Glory Babby here has got quite a bit to do to get past Cafiel Slade now and get back to Breno Ellis. Luke Johnson is going to be right there to prime and going to be all full of opportunity to capitalize with Glory Babby makes any more further errors. So yeah, it looks like he just got caught napping in there. There's Liam K in the middle of a 3 wide, and he's just on the outside as it gets 4 wide as well. And just unfortunately, netcode kind of pings a little bit awkward sort of ACC physics off the other car and has one of the front rotations. As Luke Johnson's up the inside now of Glory Babby and gets it stopped well for the chicane as well. And that's a great move from Luke Johnson. We might have to get a replay of that one. Mr. Hignett does us so kind. I think Mr. Babby must have had an awful exit out of the first chicane.
That was a bit of a bold move to dive up right there. Yeah, paid off for him.
Yeah, not the place you normally see it. Oh, we got McLaren round in the background as well, just as we got to replay camera. Typical how things go. Thank you, Alex. So yeah, he's a little bit wide. He didn't get the first part. Catches a lot of the second curve. Gets a little bit of the bounce that the AMG does, and unfortunately gets a really bad exit. And that way, Luke is able to pull alongside and stakes his claim. Doesn't back out of it. Doesn't play it safe. Gets it nicely stopped. Importantly, to make it sure it's legal as well. The McLaren gets its P3, I should say. All well and done. That's a great opportunistic move from Luke Johnson. I think that was I'm not too sure which the McLaren we saw on the go around. I'm not sure if it was contact with another car, but we lost one of the McLarens further down the field. I want to say it might have been Parker or Fakuri. But Dylan McDowell now in P9 with Benjamin Piper just behind him in another AMG. And the Porsche is going to be ruining that chicane all day, every day. But the first time we saw a car become really uncropped by it is the AMG. You know, Lord forbid it does have a flaw.
Who would have guessed, mate?
Who would have guessed? Exactly. I thought it just would have phased through it, with everyone saying it has no floor.
Yeah, I've heard whispers of the AMG having no floor, so yeah. Hey, look, funny things have happened.
If you hit it hard enough, she will bounce. No car escapes the chicane, and unfortunately the Glory Bradley has dropped 3 places from pole all the way to P4, and oh, that's Daniel Webb and Brian Kung. Oh, and secondary collision with Benjamin Piper as well. Unfortunately, hopefully everyone is able to get going cleanly after that. I'm not too sure what happened there. Look ahead, so Dylan McDowd looking up the inside of the 216 McLaren, and unfortunately tags the backside, kind of had the nose up the inside. There was room kind of left, but it was kind of, I'm not too sure how to call that one. It would be going to the stewards regardless. Fortunately, the 216 McLaren definitely came off worse than the Porsche that was Jay Parker. A little bit squirrely there from Luke Johnson, caught the inside a bit, got a little bit sideways. It's all kind of a bit even Stevens at the front, about a 1 second gap between Cafiel and Ellis, who 1.6 back to Luke Johnson, and Glory Bradley just maybe finding his feet a little bit, and looking on the back of the McLaren as you see Daniel Webb go up the inside. Another case of setting up the inside, but there was room left for Brian Kong. The camera's failing us a little bit there as they run neck and neck all the way down. A little bit of a door bang as well, so there might be a bit of anger between these two as Brian Kong breaks really late, gets it turned in, but unfortunately, I'm not too sure whether he spun or there was a secondary contact on there. It kind of went in really deep, and unfortunately, as they were both kind of rejoining onto the line, Benjamin Piper gives them a slight knock and they all snooker into each other. Fastest lap for Cafiel Slade though. Silver driver. Cafiel to pro, chat. Make it happen.
Yeah. Slady for pro. Let's get that going. He's probably going to shoot me for saying that.
Yeah, sod him. I don't think he'll care if he gets P. He comes home with P2 with the Audi at Zolder. Yeah, a very good result, but you know, sorry, Cafiel. I'll curse you all the same as anyone else does. As Atanyaki gets a 10-second penalty for out of position on lap 1, so someone not really following either didn't drive over the boxes, left too much of a gap on the grip procedure, and obviously the stewards have caught that one. Dylan McDowd flies over the curb a little bit, and got a trio of Porsches there, Miller and Yao. And it's unfortunate for Kong and Webb because it's dropped them all the way back to P12 and P13. Not ideal. It's hard to make it, hard to pass here, and it's like if these guys weren't annoyed with each other before, now they've got to deal with each other nose to nose again here. Brian gets a little bit of a bad exit, so now Daniel Webb's gonna go to the inside, gonna break out brakes, gets alongside, hopefully makes this a lot more cleaner than it has been before. Should be moved down with the white Ferrari going slower as well. I think that's Waffrey. So it should be 2 positions game maybe for Webb if we can get this one done. It looks like he has managed to, as Brian Kong has gone into the pits.
I forget that the pits is just straight off there. I was like, oh no, never mind. Am I right in saying that that's what Babs has done? He might have taken an early pit.
Michael Babb potentially might have done so. Is I believe that is him in the 666. So he does like his contra strategy, and has decided to just get the fuel done as early as possible. That, or he had some damage on the first lap. We're not too sure. Sure one of us, someone will correct us in chat. Interested to see how his race pans out. Brenner Ellis is not getting away from Cafiel Slade. The Audi looking very, very strong here right now. I doubt either of these cars are great over the chicane curbs. No, the Audi isn't particularly great. So it's even Stevens between those.
They've made a gap on Luke Johnson though. They're out to nearly 2.5 seconds.
Yep, definitely have done so. It gets a little bit darker here now, so the last of the sun's going to be going. I think we're going to be going to full nighttime towards the end of this race. It's 17:17 for ambient and track, so we're going to see some decent lap times for sure. See Goris here in the GTR, the only GTR in the split, going out through the first corner behind Price Davis. So I believe our Pro-Am leader is Goris, only just ahead of Wesley Yao, 5 points ahead, and Wesley's now in P5, so that's on a good trajectory to keep Pro-Am lead after this round. Wesley heads a trio of Porsches with Miller and McDowell, and I'm hoping everyone can keep their cool, keep their patience, because unfortunately it is quite hard to pass here if the car ahead doesn't make a mistake. And unfortunately that can sometimes lead to, let's say, people getting a little bit impatient, getting a little bit frustrated, having, you know, if you spend 20 minutes looking at the car ahead and you're quicker but you can't get past. Some can lose their patience, but hopefully everyone keeps things nice and clean. The moves will come when they happen. Unfortunately, you have to just pressure people into mistakes to get past here, as we're seeing a few more cars have boxed, and they're going to be quickly caught by these leaders here. I think that's Brian Kong just behind Michael Babb that we mentioned before. So Brian Kong was around P12, P13 times, so Michael Babb is looking good to obviously make a lot of positions from not doing a qualifying time. Qualified on the second last row of the grid. So he's always going to go forward for a driver of his caliber. On to make maybe even a top 10 at the end of this race, if he can hold on to the tyres for 60 minutes. Because I doubt he's going to stop again.
With me not racing here, is what's the tyre dig like on Zolder, Cameron?
You asked me, but I haven't raced here for 2 years either. But from what I remember, it was it can be quite high. I think it's probably quite car dependent, because I was in the Porsche last time, and I feel like that's naturally a car that has quite high dig. But yeah, I'm not too sure. I might have to look to chat. Any about esports? Oh, that's quite a dive from Waffrey, who gets it up the inside of the AMG, but the AMG hits him with the switchback, and they're going to fall alongside. The AMG's going to actually get it fully back of Ryan Anderson, so he's going to retain that lead. There's a little bit over ambitious there from Waffrey. Good thing Anderson saw him coming. But I'd say a few drivers are going to be tempted to take tyres. Obviously, you only really have these first few sweeping corners, which really hurt the front left. But yeah, it can be if you don't have the car underneath you, then it's you know, it doesn't really matter what lap times you can do. Theoretically, it's all about being consistent.
Just see the biggie hugs in chat saying not sure about tyre dig, but pressure loss is frequent. So yeah, I mean, it's a fixed fuel time, so what's that, 25 seconds? So yeah, it's a gamble whether you run that risk or you just grab the 5 seconds and just take a new pair of boots and get out there.
It is one thing to consider as well. 5 seconds means a lot more around a track that you can't get past too easily. So I think there's more incentive to not take tyres if you're looking to defend from someone else. It's going to be a thing, as Brenner Ellis right now on the back of Brian Kong, who's trying to get past Michael Babb, but hopefully he sees the blue flags in his mirrors. Gets out of the way to the inside. Going to compromise Brenner's line a little bit, but nothing too bad. Falls back in the line, and hopefully it doesn't hold up Cafiel Slade by too much either. It's the first of the blue flags. The top 4 overall have got quite a big lead to the rest of the field, so if Brian Kong and Michael Babb are like shouldn't be too worried that they might be able to don't fall to the trap of constant blue flags. So how to get quite bounced there. It is quite bumpy, those inner chicanes where the second sector. There's quite a lot of compression, and some cars can bottom out quite badly.
I usually have the problem of bouncing there and then exit stage right, and then, oh, hello, wall.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. And it's, we were talking about the Ford Mustang before as well, and we've got no Mustangs for the split, so we can't even see how well it's going to perform here. We obviously have a few drivers going for changes. Jack Miller looks at the inside now of Wesley Yao, and Wesley gets very squirrely on the exit as well, so it's going to be a bad run from Porsche to Porsche drivers, and they're just about alongside. They're all jockeying for a position just as Jack Miller gets a 10-second penalty for causing a collision on lap 2, so that's going to put a spanner in the works. Maybe that'll encourage him more to try and get past and build a lead ahead of Wesley Yao, but not going to be too favourable for him, surely.
I'd hate to correct you there, Cameron, but there is one Mustang. It's Mr. Paul Cranich.
Oh, of course.
88. Yeah. Oh, I just had to have a look. I thought, surely I saw one. There it is. Look at it.
Yes.
He's done a fantastic job on that livery. I reckon that looks awesome.
Yeah, he's done a good job. And yes, I've got to forget the DGR colours of the shell car. My apologies, Mr. Cranich, but yes, going well there on his AM championship now. See, back to Jack Miller, was trying to keep up, but yeah, it's like, I feel like the harder you drive sometimes, the more you just unfortunately make mistakes, and you can really lose out a lot of time. So we've seen as Jack Miller's definitely fallen off the back of Wesley a little bit through the midsection. So car 72, I think that's Winton, and the Ferrari has come unstuck at the chicane. Looks to be getting going again though, thankfully. Oh, gonna be interesting to see what Glory Babby seems to have more pace than Luke Johnson, but can't find a way past. But I wonder if that will incentivize him to kind of change his pit stops. Maybe kind of do an early stop, go for an undercut. But we'll have to put on all that extra fuel. But meanwhile, Luke Johnson is kind of going along. So replay at the start now with Kafil Slade. So I think Glory Babby, he went and then kind of stopped. I don't know if he kind of went just before the green and caught himself out, but unfortunately lost out massively. As we saw Lambo there, I think that was our top 6 Lambo. Unfortunately, it hit the wall as well. That's very unfortunate. That was H Smiles. But yeah, just unfortunately, all round, not a disastrous start, because if you're still going P4, I've had a lot worse starts that on the first lap or the first corners. P4 is pretty good in retrospect.
I mean, on a whole, I was just about to say.
Ooh, so Smiles had a Ferrari right up the inside. And then, just had a little bump as well with, I think that was Dylan McDowd. But it's just like a tiny little bump, and unfortunately just sent the car just spearing off to the inside wall. It's unfortunately ACC physics again at work. Lest we have to pray to the gods for some better collisions.
That's a yay, Kunos things.
Yay. If
I was
you like
just about to
GT3s, I'm just going to plug our LMU series that we're running on Friday nights. Love to see you there.
Oh, well played.
Mustang's been added as well. Yay, for free. No reason to not try it out. Oh,
has it? Oh, I'd have to jump in on that one.
Yep, literally last night the Mustang, Porsche and Aston Martin were added. Porsche and Aston are the DLC cars, so you have to pay for those. But the Mustang is free, so we've got 2 free GT3s now. There's the McLaren and the Mustang. So I expect the McLarens to go extinct, because I don't think anyone enjoyed driving that thing.
Hey. Is it just because I jumped into the McLaren, or?
No, I don't think anyone really liked it in general. The GT3s, but we've got a new tyre model as well in LMU for the GTs. Anyway, back to ACC. It's not, the ACC's not dead yet. Oh, Glory Barry, all sorts of sideways. Kind of, we're struggling to get on power just from the corner before and just get it really out sideways and frankly able to catch it up and not really lose too much time to Luke Johnson, but a little bit of crack in the chink for a little bit of chink in the armor for Mr. Babby.
Might just be pushing a bit hard, trying to make up what he lost. But yeah, just take a breath, settle down, eyes forward. Still 40 minutes to go.
Yeah, and unfortunately, he's got Luke Johnson ahead of him. Luke's been around the proverbial checkered flag for quite a long time. Oh, that's very wide from Jake Miller. And going to find a lot of grass and gravel, and unfortunately lose the whole position to Dylan McDowell. So, who's showing good speed was Jack. Unfortunately, going to lose out quite a bit. As the Porsche all like to bunny hop through the chicane. Brian Kong getting a 5-second penalty for ignoring blue flags on lap 9. So I think we kind of caught the part where he did let them go, but maybe he was kind of within that. Oh, Jack Dack, that's really wide and just managed to escape the tire bundle on the exit. He could have a very big crash there, but oh, it's I have to rein things in a bit. Not sure where his tires are gone. It's quite early for your tires. We've gone this early, even if it is a Porsche in 20 minutes. Maybe come to the box, reset mentally a bit, kind of refuel, but hopefully he can find his rhythm all over again. See now. So this is Brian Kong. This is behind Breno Ellis. So yeah, got slowed up quite a bit. Wasn't able to really get on throttle early. Does get out the way. I wonder how long Brian Kong was kind of within a second of the lead cars, which probably has resulted in his penalty. Either way, not ideal for the Ferrari driver.
Here's a look at Luke Johnson, 2.5 seconds back from Gaffel Slade. And Bruno Ellis has jumped out 3.5 seconds. He's starting to stretch the legs a little bit, isn't he?
Yep, definitely. Gaffel was kind of keeping good pace with him for the first few minutes, first 10 or 15 minutes, but it looks like Brenner's built a bit more of a gap, whether it's a few mistakes from Cafiel, or whether it's the Audi. It's feeling its tires a little bit more than the Porsche, because I'll tell you what, like the Porsche is not a great car when the tires are not are kind of worn out, but the Audi is right up there with it. Let's say it's not a fun car to drive on worn tires.
As unfortunately Paul Kranich gets slapped with a 15-second as well.
Oh dear, oh dear. Oh, what have you done, Paul? That's quite a hefty penalty.
No doubt our...
Just no, still the only AM in this race, so he's looking good to secure his... take the AM win. Benjamin Piper jumps into the pit lane now. US driver to jump in. I think I could be on... Sorry, you go on, David.
I'm not going to lie, I kind of expected a little bit more carnage around this short little dicey track, actually, but, overall, everybody's actually been pretty well behaved.
You're not entertained with the carnage we've had so far?
I am. I mean, I shouldn't be saying that I'm entertained by the carnage, because it's always unfortunate, but I just kind of expected more, to be honest.
Yeah, we gotta, we kind of do the media training. Oh yes, we're so sorry. Some very unfortunate had these incidents. Meanwhile, we're lapping it up.
Yeah, in the back of our minds, we're like, no, kind of wanted to see some more incidents.
Yeah, I mean, Jack Miller nearly had us going with his rallycross.
Yeah, I definitely took a big breath and went, oh, no, he's all right.
As Kevin gets a little bit unfortunate as the car comes out of the pits at the Just unfortunate time, but doesn't lose too much about it. Slightly going, I want to say maybe drawing back into the clutches of Luke Johnson a little bit is Cafield. There's Breno Ellis here. Lovely curb cam from Mr. Hignett. See how the Audi here just avoids the second curb entirely. Same for the McLaren and even the AMG, surprisingly. Seems to be the key is that you kind of wallop the first curb, you get it turned in really sharply, so you lift the front left up, you can hit the inside curb and just avoid the second curb, because that's the one that actually seems to affect your drive out of the corner. See, Benjamin Piper's come out just ahead of Michael Babb, so that's gonna be frustrating for Michael Babb, surely. It's would have been nice to get ahead of him, because as we said, we've said many a time, the track position here is pretty strong. And that's, I want to say, you know, we've come from Alton Park only 2 races ago. I'm not sure which one's worse for racing. I want to say maybe here it's a little bit easier to get moved done, but, you know, it's like saying which Schumacher brothers are better looking, Ralph or Michael.
Oh, nope. No, I'm gonna not comment on that one.
That's all right. They come through on this corner. Yeah, I think Luke's broken away here from Glory Babby a little bit. So Jack Miller comes into the box and will have to service 10 seconds on top of whatever he does. There's at least 25 seconds of fuel. Temperatures have stayed about the same. Ryan Anderson gets a 15-second penalty for causing a collision on lap 10. So that's yeesh. I'm not sure we caught that one, but it's some big penalties being handed out.
Yeah, the stewards are definitely, yeah, they're getting the smack stick out this week, aren't they?
Absolutely. No pains taken. This round was meant to be originally a dedicated wet round, as per the calendar, but obviously was a change given the rain, given the conditions of our Bathurst 12 out.
Yeah, the outstanding conditions of the Bathurst 12 out.
Outstanding indeed. And there's a little fun Easter egg. That's I believe that is Marco. Oh, I forget his name, but the head of one of Kuno's Marco. Actually takes that photo in the mirror there. It's one of the fun Easter eggs you can find around this track. It's definitely one of the first tracks that came to the game as well. So was a fun little bit of trivia for Zolder track. Oh, I just saw Cafield getting a little bit squirrely through the Lucien Bianchi box. So Waffrey gets a 5-second penalty as well. So he comes into service stop.
I was just about to try and say that corner name 5 times quick.
I mean, it's I'd rather say that than the hairpin Boulderberg Haspelbocht. As someone who has a long surname, that's that one's just taking the piss.
I was just going to say, yeah, look, I'm glad that I haven't got the corner names in front of me, because I don't even want to attempt it, to be honest.
Yeah, it's I mean, Jackie Xbox is probably the easiest one. That's the last corner, the sort of last chicane. But yeah, it seems to be all named after mostly drivers. So, what are your thoughts on Zolder? It's a pretty old circuit. It's pretty good for racing. You feel like these cars are a bit quick for it?
Oh, yes and no. Like I was telling you earlier, before we went live, I've only done a matter of 15 laps around here, and it's not too bad. I didn't hate it. I mean, it's not a Monza to me, so yeah, no, I'm quite enjoying it so far. But I don't know. Ask me after a 60-minute race tomorrow.
Well, I'll be in the same 60-minute race, so there'll be no questions from me. It'll either be jubilation or commiserations. I think it's
Well,
gonna be, there'll be no middle ground.
When you see me parked in the wall after that chicane, just wave as you're going past, mate.
Yep. I don't know about the capacity where I was going to say, it looks like Michael Babbitt had got ahead of Benjamin Piper, and looks like this is how he's going to get it. He goes up the inside, a little bit of a dummy, and gets Benjamin Piper into the P2 corner. It's a very good move there from Michael Babb. Excellent move. So it can be done. See, it can be caught away, and it's a great driving from Michael. A very good textbook move. Sort of jinked to the left a little bit, kind of saw him coming with maybe a bit of a bad exit from the AMG. And Benjamin Piper saw him coming and left him space. He didn't just close down on him, so it was good driving all round. Seeing definitely a few more pit stops done so far. Looks like potentially for Corey is going to be the leading current ones who's done a stop, followed by Jack Miller, and not too sure. Yeah, but Michael Babb there kind of filters into net P3 of the people who've done their stops so far, kind of intermingling with these leaders so far.
I just see in chat that Mr. Diebold said the 5 second for Mr. Kong was for a bump pass.
It's understandable. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Not what we like to see. Or was that Waffrey? Because I think Kong was for blue flags.
Oh, see, now you've got me confused. Oh, no.
I think that was Waffrey who just got a 5 second, which is, I imagine, what Diebold is referring to.
Oh,
Someone gets a 5 second.
Someone got a 5 second penalty for a bump pass. Oh, unfortunate.
See Daniel Webb here. It's kind of, ooh dear, someone's skating across the gravel ahead of him. We're about a free position. It looks like a Ferrari, so I think that's a lap car. Yep, that's Hayden Marsh. So no freebie for Webb. Not sure if anything really came of the collision between him and Kong, but seeing as that I don't think Kong got a penalty for it, or Webb himself, so I think it might have been chalked down to a racing incident. A few more boxes now. Thank you to Mr. Hignett for his pit cam. It's Jay Parker and McLaren boxes. Let's see what the leaders do. It's Luke Johnson now 1.3 seconds within Capiel Slade, and it's come out to 6.8 to Ellis. So I think, yeah, I reckon Cafiel's kind of feeling the tires go out. Oh, speaking of leaders boxing though, Bruno Ellis comes into the box. Hopefully gets it nice and stopped for the pit entry. It's a little bit of an awkward pit entry. The stewards are very keen for no shenanigans to happen as well. Looks like Cafiel's got a bit of traffic to deal with in the form of Fakori. He needs to get out of the way and not get on the racing line, but it looks like it's failed to done so. Well, when blue flags don't use their mirrors. So Luke Johnson now has to deal with him, as well as ooh, McLaren just comes to a complete stop. I know you want to get out of the way, but that's a bit drastic. That's Jay Parker. It's 2:16. And it looks like it's getting going again.
I was about to say that's one way to avoid getting hit with the blue flags.
As for Corey, fails to get out of the way for Luke Johnson as well, despite having that whole little curve straight to let the car pass. And unfortunately going to affect the race lead. He's been around long enough they should know better. It might be a bit harsh, but as I said, they've been around long enough to know better.
After the Bathurst 12 hour, I Oh, as he comes into the pits. Yeah, I've sort of got PTSD over blue flags. I seem to have got them all day.
Yes. Yeah, well, yeah. Quite a lot of blue flags there. At least you had the benefit of like no one is allowed to pass you over this top. That was quite enforced, it seemed, and it did make things for a 12-hour in the wet with the amount of cars that we were running. It's a bit of a miracle we don't have as many incidents as we can do sometimes. So it was good driving from everyone for the most part. Glory Barry boxes now. So Brenner's has obviously completed their stop, and Luke Johnson getting really close now to the back of Kafil Slade, who's got a really bad exit, and looks like he's going to either just completely let him go. I think Kafil either got the worst exit, mother of all worst exits, or has decided to not fight Luke Johnson too hard, or is really dropping by. Whether he's I can't imagine he's run out of fuel. He's really dropping back a lot of speed. So either he's having to nurse the car just to get it back, either he forgot to box because he's really barely moving out of these corners, and yeah, something's not right at all. Oh, Kafil. Surely into the box now. Now to a replay. So he comes into chicane. Looks as per normal in terms of the line. Going up through the gears, I was saying. So I wonder if he's had to put the engine into its probably highest fuel save, as he must have realized he doesn't have enough fuel to get around to the end because he's barely accelerating. Looks like, yeah, map 8. And it's been a while since I've run an Audi, but yeah, it's not the Porsche, which is the map 8 is normally the fastest lap for the Porsche, but for the Audi, definitely not the case. Thank you for Ben for that one. That's really unfortunate for Kafil. I mean, he's managed to get back to the pits, but he's definitely lost. He's going to lose out surely to Glory Babby and Luke Johnson. We've already lost to Luke Johnson on track. We lost a whole heap of time just nursing the thing back. Ooh. John Stockton has a car behind him, but goes straight into the pits for Ben Winton. Here's Luke Johnson provisionally P1 right now, but yet to do a stop. Brenner Ellis will be moving ahead of Roy Bradbury as well. Did see the meatball flag come out there as Luke Johnson comes to the pit, so drivers are required now to put their lights on. Brenner retains the lead. You can just saw the AMG, I believe, in the background come into shot. And they confirm that Kafil Slade has dropped behind Glory Babby. Looks to be 5 seconds at the current timing line. So that's going to be at least 8 to 10 seconds he would have lost just from that error. But unfortunately, that might cost him a podium, I will say, for the Audi driver.
Yeah, it's pretty unfortunate for him, isn't it?
You have to wonder here if any of these top 4 have taken tyres. You see, they were all kind of close enough that they were going to move around positions if any of them did. So either they've all taken tyres or they're going to, they all haven't, which I dare say is the latter. We'll see where Luke Johnson kind of filters into things. So he should come out ahead of Glory Babby. It's car 19 as car 47 just crosses the timing line for the start of the grid and is going to be ahead, yet only by 1 or 2 seconds. 47 is just behind him, only 1 corner behind is the AMG. Hopefully it's just a shot. There we go. So hopefully everyone's adjusted their pressures a little bit. It's dropped down to 16 now, and I dare say it might drop another degree as the sun has definitely fully gone behind the curtain. Not that anyone can change their pressures unless they take tyres, which I doubt any of these top 4 have.
I just had a glimpse of the meatball flag and thought, can't be right. I think it's just just our awesome flagman just standing there waiting.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you get the meatball flag if you don't have the lights on. So some drivers might be it. Ooh, that's cross-country line for the AMG of Ryan Anderson, ahead of Jared Bird. He's going to have Goris in the GTR just behind him as well to capitalize if anything goes wrong. Dives up the inside. And it's going to be side by side coming the run for T2. The AMG has the inside line, but breaks later from the Ferrari. Carries more speed and should be ahead for Jared Burnt. And gets the move done and leaves the AMG into the clutches of Goris. Oh, very sideways from the AMG as well. And surely that's going to make it nice and easy for Goris to get alongside up the inside. And we come to the chicane now. We're going to go too wide. Who knows who's going to come out on top? It's still going to be too wide going on the exit. And Goris is going to be on the outside here for this part of the game. Surely not going to win out here. Yep, and they all filter back into single file.
I was wondering if they were going to be keen enough to go too wide through there, because I wouldn't be. I would be the one backing out going, no sir, that's yours.
Yep. Yeah, especially on the outside, you tend to get bullied by whoever's on the inside because they can brake so much lighter.
Still pretty good driving from them there. It was pretty good awareness.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, that inside little chicane is not really great for racing because, you know, if you do make it side by side, you know, it's like half of you is on one car's completely off the track anyway. But then again, you can argue, you know, well, the ideal line, the legal line, is completely off within the white line anyway. So, you know, who knows what's right. As Brenner Ellis does a 1:27.8 for a new fastest lap. It's very, very quick as we are getting colder conditions as, oh dear, the Ferrari there of, I think that is Winton, I want to say, has gone wide and let Smiles through. So it's all a bit chop and change for these guys. Replay now. The BMW 117. Unfortunately, ooh dear. Oh, yep, and found the wall as well. Yeah, unfortunately for Cruz there, got it all wrong. And yeah, the cars definitely bottom out, and you can just suddenly find yourself in a little sort of weird slide as unfortunately the BMW driver found himself.
Yeah, unfortunately, I've done that a couple of times trying to get around this track.
Yeah, as you bottom out, you kind of have to keep the car as straight as you can, otherwise, especially the mid-engine cars can kind of slew around. Goris all the way on the back of this AMG again, and these four have to watch out because the leader is right behind them, and they all will be obliged to get out of the way, all copper paddling. And you see, the first one gets out of the way. Ben Winton is definitely going to free himself from the range of the paddle. And oh, very wide from the AMG and the Lambo behind. Goris is going to pull alongside again and going to be on the outside, carries the speed around, but a little bit later on getting onto power, still going to be side by side with the AMG. Surely going to lose out a little bit here on the exit. Yep, as the filter back in as the leader comes through, but here comes Smiles as well. He had a bit of a run, but I think he's aware, oh, as he wants to get out of the way, but the Porsche's kind of going that way too, and hopefully that won't be too bad for Breno Ellis. But he gets out of the way, gets past the Lamborghini, as Goris does too, gets well out of the way as well. Good to get it done before this switchy section as well, because ain't no one gonna kind of try and filter through if you do it afterwards.
Yeah, it was a good call there by Goris, just to back off and go, where you go, good sir. I'll let you have this.
Absolutely. So they've left Anderson off the hook a little bit. It was really Smiles goes a little bit wide of the hairpin, and it's going to have Winton alongside. Oh, and a little bit of a bump coming down into the chicane. It's going to be side by side. A lot of curb taken for the Lamborghini. It's going to retain that position. Good racing. Nice and clean. You know, I'm not seeing too many incidents so far. And definitely good to see people still giving several stabs at the cherry. Just because it's hard to pass doesn't mean it can't be done. Stockton's going to filter out right in the middle of this pack. Dylan McDowd now. We haven't checked in on these Porsches for a while. Heading up Wesley Yao, but not by much. And so Jack Miller, who was part of this trio, has dropped back to P8. Obviously had to serve a penalty. What happened? I was going to say, like, before we kind of we broke up the trio of Porsches, there's all a bit of anyone can really kind of finish P5 right now, because they're obviously the top four have kind of made their own, kind of left the rest of the field for dead. But from P5 downwards, it's all, you know, pretty close to pay for. Even these cars, you know, they're not too far behind. You know, one big incident between the cars up ahead can definitely be within range to capitalize.
Yeah, I was just going to say that, you know, just one slight misjudgment of the chicanes and, yeah, you could be losing a position or two for those guys. So, yeah, could be interesting to keep an eye on them.
Yeah. I wonder if anyone's found a couple of track limits. Oh, speaking of errors, looks like Fakori's got a bad exit through the chicane, and Parker's going to run on the inside and should have this easily done, but he backs out of it. As you do lose a bit of momentum being on the outside for the long left-hander. If you can get up the inside of that little twisty bit of chicane, it's hard for the person on the outside to do anything about it. He had his chance. He might rue that later if he doesn't get another one. But he played it safe. Yeah, safe is can bring the points home.
I was just going to say, sometimes safe is the better option instead of trying to poke your nose in and potentially have a bit of an incident.
Absolutely. So yeah, we're kind of pick for cars that are going to be good around here, like the Bentley, Mustang, McLaren, and Aston. We're kind of lacking on the Fords and Astons for this split. It'll be interesting to see how split green goes. From having fun in the Fruit Bowl server, is seeing quite a few Astons look pretty good towards the pointy end of the field. Obviously, Mr. Lucas Keys knows the Aston very well and is doing some rapid times. Shock to everyone else.
I was about to say, Lucas doing rapid times? No.
Yeah. Problem is, he's not. He's you know, he's not very humble. He just knows he completely brags about his times all the time. You know.
Oh, you can't shut him up, can you?
Yeah. We'll see if he's listening.
I don't think so. He probably would have spoken up by now. He is a fast operator, our Lucas Keys. He, I've watched him do some quite quick laps and quite quick races. He's come from the back and made P2 in one race I watched, and I just sat there with my jaw to the floor going, how is that possible? Oh, there you go, biggie hugs. Lucas did a casual 26.7 just for fun on the Fruit Bowl server. Yeah, man, I'd be happy with a 26.7. Gee.
It's okay. We'll all manage. And now it's sort of steadied on a little bit. Wednesday out, still on the back of Dylan McDowd a little bit. But Corey as well, still getting on with Parker. It's kind of a bit of a ticking waiting game to see who makes a mistake first. Oh, there we go. Speaking of mistakes, surely a mistake from Fakori has going to let Parker through, and no need to back out of that one. He's got it done well and truly. I can't remember. I think I went for Mr. Johnson and you went for Mr. Glory Babby, and so I don't think any of us are going to be winning the As we go to a replay now for Corey, gets a little bit, quite deep. He didn't touch the inside curb at all. Clattered the second one, and that's the one that really affects your exit. Parker didn't have to do much. Didn't have to do much to get that one done.
Sort of a free position there, watching the car get airborne.
Yep.
Dukes of Hazzard styles nearly.
Absolutely. But yeah, I don't think any of us are winning on our predictions, since that Breno Ellis is leading the field by quite a margin, I believe, over Luke Johnson. I think he's got at least 13 seconds. So didn't really spread out the gap too much at the start of the race, but it's definitely come to him now. He's controlled the pace very easily so far, and fastest lap, there we go, as well. Jack Miller on board now, so it's a little bit squirrely on the exit. And oh, the car's died. Oh, he's hit the ignition. He's had to start. He's probably flicked his ignition switch, which is hence why he's had to come to a complete stop as well. There's a out on the back of Dylan. But yeah, I think Jack Miller had to stop the car, start the ignition, and then start the engine again, because unfortunately the game doesn't let you start the fire in the engine without stopping the car for some reason. Quite unfortunate. Lost would have lost the position to Michael Babb, and I think for Corey and Parker as well, as he was running P8, so that's a costly mistake for the Pro-Am driver.
I guess that's where you need to sort of look at your steering wheel mapping and go, move that away from where it is.
Yeah, I had it on the bottom, and I think I whacked it once, so I moved it to somewhere else. And yeah, definitely one thing. Oh, big mistake from Dylan McDowell, and it's going to be a freebie for Mr. Wesley Yao. We got a replay now. So yeah, Jack Miller here on the back of Michael Babb and sends it up the inside, and good move done. Michael Babb saw him coming and gets it stopped nicely. So good recovery there from Jack Miller. Wesley Yao does get ahead of Dylan McDowell, and Dylan McDowell's got Daniel Webb all over the back of him as well. So he's got to refine his composure quite quickly, otherwise he's going to be losing another position. Jack Miller gets back to P10. I'm not sure if he what state his tyres are in, whether he took tyres at the stop as well, because I imagine Michael Babb didn't, considering he boxed pretty much lap 2. So he'll be feeling those tyres. He'll be 50 minutes old at this rate. As Daniel Webb gets to the inside easily on Dylan McDowell. Look quite simple. Oh, he's got very slippery on the exit, and it's going to hand a little bit of time back to Dylan McDowell, but nothing can be done really around the outside. So unfortunately for Dylan, that's another position gone. And it's dropped down to P7. Look now, Wesley Yao filling up the mirrors of Dylan. And Dylan goes into the chicane, maybe a little bit distracted, gets a hop and a skip and a jump, but yep, gets a little bit sideways as well. It didn't look too bad, but then the car just started to move a little bit laterally. And unfortunately, I lost him at that position, and another one now to Webb.
Sorry about the absence, just had an SOS text from my work. Yay! That's what I love at 10:45 at night in New Zealand.
Oh, lovely. I am paid enough to monitor work outside of hours.
Yeah, unfortunately I'm not, but I seem to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's no fun. I could think of some stronger words for that stuff, but we'll leave it at that.
I just see a DT come through for Waffery. That's unfortunate.
I was wondering if anyone was going to get a drive-through, because depending on how much you cut these chicanes, you can get track limits, and it's a little bit vague sometimes on how much you cut it by is going to get you one. Especially here at this part of chicane, this left part where the category has just gone over now. Like if you cut it just enough, even though you're cutting it a lot technically, Um, what gives you a drive, gets you a track limit can be a little bit vague, especially if you're, 55 minutes into a race where your concentration is not all too sharp.
Yeah, I've seen the Biggie Hugs there in chat. He showed me the track limits on one of the corners, and it's surprisingly quite wide. But I'm not really one to risk getting the track limits here.
Yeah, I'm not really a fan of places where it's very like you can cut like a lot of the corner, but if you cut it this much, it's too far. I'm just like, well, it's like blowing on an oil rig fire. Just why don't you just make it the white line? But that's a bit of an endless debate.
Oh, you've opened up a can of worms there, haven't you?
It's honestly, I don't mind too, but it's just corners. This track's just got a few of those corners where it's just like I can cut it this much, but not. But if you go over this line, no. Oh, Glory Barry really outside. I was going to say he's been catching Luke Johnson and putting in some good times, but got a little bit of a slide. He looks like he hasn't really been able to replicate the pace from qualifying. Has Glory. And not really had the same composure either, just faltering a little bit. Unfortunately, maybe it was just it was all from lap 1 from turn 1.
He's still got 4.5 minutes. I mean, it's not the easiest place to pass, but yeah, if he catches up and puts the pressure on, he might just get Lukey Johnson to maybe force a mistake. Maybe. I just wish him good luck at this point.
Yeah, as to be fair, if a bad race is P3, that's still pretty good. I believe that I was quite surprised when I was looking at the standings. He is leading the championship, even though he's actually missed a round because he didn't do Silverstone, but he's won the other 2 races that he's turned up for, which hence why he's retained the lead. So this will be a race that matters for him because he's already used his drop round, obviously, on the race he missed. Then again, he might not even care about the championship. Maybe it's just for fun.
How good is this camera shot here?
It is very good. Shows us the floating sausage curbs as well. Thanks, Kunos. Did a good job nailing those down, didn't you?
Oh, I was just thinking that.
Yes. Good old floating tech. Anyway. So, got a lap car to deal with. Kind of gets out of the way, and not really an ideal place to go in that part of the track, to say the least. Let Luke a little bit off the hook, along with the mistake he made on the previous lap. That's 16 seconds now to Breno Ellis. Like, Breno seems to have found a lot of time just still towards the end of this race. Like, he's not slowing up at all, whereas I'm not sure if these guys are really, if anyone else is going any quicker, because obviously the tires will be feeling it a little bit. You can feel that still in P4, just about 4 or 5 seconds behind the podium, and I'd be kicking myself a little bit if I was him. He had P2 in the back in quite a strong position, and unfortunately he's going to be kicked off the podium as a result.
Yeah, if I know Slady, he's going to be kicking himself, and yeah, it's unfortunate for him.
It's one thing to lose a position, but when you lose a podium, like, yeah, it kind of stings a little bit. It has that little extra prestige to it. Wesley Yao, as I said before, doing a very good job in the 992 car, P5. And obviously, one of my more recent additions to the grid. I think they raced last season and the season before, but able to putting a very good AM championship, and I think they obviously got the Pro Am promotion now, and to hold on a P5, it's very, very impressive.
Yeah, I didn't see where they qualified, but yeah. Hey, look, I'd be happy with a P5. I'd be happy with the top 20. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. Oh dear! Oh no! As Luke Johnson's come across with Goris there into the last corner, unfortunately, that is going to lose him a place to Babby. So, with 1 minute to go. Oh, surely we're going to see a replay of that, hopefully, from our camera director, but not too. We caught that late, whereas the Luke Johnson in the McLaren was kind of side by side with the GTR of Goris. And unfortunately, whatever's happened has led to him losing the position behind Babby, so all presence for Babby. So we see the GTR letting the McLaren go and just completely misses his braking zone and absolutely... Oh, no, nothing Luke Johnson did wrong there. Absolutely just almost innocent bystander there. And that... Oh, that is gut-wrenching. That's gutting for Luke.
Oh, I'm not going to lie. I would have said a couple of choice words if it was me. That's unlucky for Goris. Just, yeah, missing the braking marker, and yeah, it's disappointing.
One thing to miss a braking marker, but then one thing to then have a collision because of it. He was doing the right thing and he was letting the car go, but I'm guessing he was kind of just looking at the car and then realized here I'm just completely missing braking zone and just... I would not be very happy if that was if I was on the receiving end of that. As Breno has crossed the line, so he's going to take us around for another lap. This is not the last lap, and as much as Luke Johnson kind of harass and harangue the AMG ahead of him, hopefully, and I don't think Glory Babby's going to just give the position back to him, as he shouldn't really. You know, it wasn't an incident he's involved. He just benefited of it. As Adam Gosh gets a drive-through for causing a collision. Yeah, that was the stewards will let their paddle-ins be known on that one.
Yeah, I didn't want to say it, but I sort of saw that coming for Goris, unfortunately.
Oh yes, it was a slam dunk. It was you didn't need to replay that twice. It was clear cookie cutter from the first wave, and unfortunately, yeah, that's I would say I'd be gutted, but I'd be much more strongly feeling if I was Luke.
Yeah, there would have been some choice words coming. I'm sure.
I'd turn that white McLaren blue.
Oh yeah.
Meanwhile, Breno Ellis takes a commanding, dominant victory here at Breno Ellis track. No, it's at Zolder for the Porsche. It might as well be. Might as slap his name on it. But he's done a great job. Commanded the race from start to finish, pretty much from turn one. Didn't get the pole. And Glory Babby, despite a horrific kind of losing several positions, is going home P2. So a pretty good day at the office. All things considered, 20 seconds behind Breno Ellis, Luke Johnson P3, and Cafiel Slade P4. We got a little bit of a wait because those top four absolutely smashed the rest of the field. But yeah, really unfortunate for Luke Johnson. Oh no, Luke Johnson. So I was going to say I don't think Luke's actually doing commentary for this split, right? For the split green coming up soon. So might have been able to get some live feelings, but maybe he is, maybe he isn't.
Oh, I was going to run.
But yes, maybe we can get some. We'll get the split green commentators. Get a race recap from Mr. Luke Johnson. But anyway, Wesley Yale finishes not P4, but yeah, P5, followed by McDowell, Webb, McDowell, Parker, Miller, Fakori, Bab, and Benjamin Piper. Ooh, yeah. As I said, we both lost in our predictions. We both didn't choose Breno Ellis, but pretty good race overall. Something I was going to say it was pretty clean until about 1 minute 30 to go. But yes, lovely race there from Mr. Marsh. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it started out with a hiss and a roar, and then sort of plateaued, and then she kicked off in the end, didn't it?
It certainly did. We'll run through the order. So it's going to be Breno Ellis from Glory Babby, from Luke Johnson to make up the top three. Promote Babby to pro already. Babby still at Cafiel Slade P1 in silver, followed by Webb and Bet. And then for Pro-Am, Wesley Yao, Jay Parker, and Jay Millett make up the top three. And for Am, I believe. Oh, it's not Kranich. It's B Miller and Paul Kranich and Atayake. So I apologize. There is not one amp, but well done to those three for reaching the end.
I think you missed somebody in the silver class, actually. Yeah, I think there was a different P1.
Nah, sod him. He's not. He's not silver. None of that. Anyway, but we're gonna love you and leave you here for Split Yellow. It'll be all from me, Cameron, and David, and we'll hand you over to the guys at Split Green after this short break. Don't be long.
Evening. all. Welcome back. After a short break, we're back with the midweek sprint series here at Octane Online Racing. We're back Wednesday. It's split green and it's round 4. We're at Zolder and I'm joined in the commentary box by Liam Hamilton. How are you, sir?
I'm very well, thank you. Excited to be back here at Zolder. I feel like it's a bit of a crowd favourite, but I feel like it's been a long time since we've been back here. So yeah, happy to be back at the circuit of many chicanes.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, it's a great track. I love it. But, I mean, it can be a bit of procession due to, I guess, the nature of the circuit itself. But hopefully we can see 4 wide into turn 1 or the first chicane. That'd be excellent.
Why not into both? I mean, yeah, I agree. It's a good track to hot lap. Through the race, it can be a little bit of a procession. But it's one of those ones where you absolutely nail every chicane and you nail the lap. It feels really satisfying. But yeah, it should be a good one to watch this race go through.
Yeah, absolutely. So I suppose we're jumping in board with Koali now, with one of the front runners for this season, Mr. Weatherburn, Yoda, as he's known affectionately by many. And currently P2 in the standings. So if we get a standings update there, Ben, we might be able to check to see who's doing what in terms of the season as abroad.
Yeah, I was having a quick look at it earlier, and I believe we've got Giacomin out in front, having won the last 3 races. Since I missed the last couple there, I was just having a quick look and catch up and see what I missed. Yeah, so we've got Giacomin out in front, followed by Yoda, followed by Lucas Marshall, I believe, a returning driver from a very long break. So yeah, good to see some new names some old names up in the front.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's also been, like, it's kind of a bit mixed. It's not how I thought it would have went full screen in terms of who's where, but it's also glad to see. I'll shout him out again, and I hope he does well tonight, but I'm absolutely cursing this man at this point. But Damiano Thurcolini in P5 overall, let's go. Tucked in there behind Hill and in front of Rad. So Rad actually very good positioning there in P6 to lead the Pro-Am battle. Squires seems to have only competed 1 race, but still the leader for Silver back there in 12th. And Macaulay hot on his heels in the AM title challenge. So it's still pretty tight. Like, how many rounds we got left? 2? 3?
Yeah, it'll be 3 if you include this one. So yeah, a lot to play for still, plenty of points on the board. If Damiano has a bad race, we know who to blame. He's getting those curses in early, ladies and gentlemen. And is that a recent promotion that I see for Damiano there up into the pro class?
I don't think, I think now, it might have been before the season or like after the first round of the season, but definitely well deserved. The dude has absolutely worked his tail off over the past couple of seasons in the Porsche, and look, you got to respect it. The man's madly in love with the thing. It's killed many times, as it almost did just then, but he's also shown faith in the brand and the livery. The livery has definitely had a few tweaks, but stayed the same. But yeah, it's good to see Damiano still trundling around, and you know, he's reaping pretty much all the effort he's putting in.
Yeah, he must know this car like the back of his head now. I don't think I've seen him drive anything else for a very long time here. But yeah, I've seen him come a long way since he started, and I'm pretty sure he got a podium at Silverstone in silver class. I'm fairly sure, so I think it must be a fairly recent promotion since I've missed on the last 2 races there. So yeah, mega effort by I think maybe a fan favourite at this point with Damiano to get up to pro class and start fighting at the pointy end of the field.
Yeah, absolutely. As we see, Squires put in again the fastest lap, which is immediately trumped by Hill with a 28.1. So I'm thinking, I've seen the kind of a few people do some laps around here. And what are like pole times expected, like low 27s-ish range, I think.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I did have a quick check. As I said, it's been a hell of a long time since I've driven myself here. So I did have a quick look to see what the pole time, the top few times were for split yellow. And yeah, low 27s sort of seems to be where we're at. Oh, that Mustang is a lot of bouncing over that curb. on the Porsche. Oh, that was very sideways. I think he's hung on to it though. Yeah. I think low 27s. I'm gonna say as a prediction, I'm gonna say a 27.4 for pole today.
Yeah, I think yellow was a 27.3 or 27.2, so I mean a 27.4 is a good shout. I'll go a 27.1 and hopefully someone matches me, because there's a couple people in this split who probably could match what we're predicting, so it's definitely interesting to see. Who's your guess for quali? You got to pick right here, right now.
I'd like to see Yoda up the front in that Mustang. Yeah, I'm gonna stick it with Yoda and see if he can get one in here.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I mean, that was my pick, so, you know, I guess you'll take that away from me. Is Jack Homan here tonight? Is Jack Homan racing? Where's that number? Where's that number? Where's that number? Yes, he is. Okay, there's my pole man, Mr. Jack Homan in P21 right now, but I reckon when he strings the lap together, I reckon he's got it in him to put it on pole.
Yeah, we've seen it before. We know he can do it. So, that is not how you want to do that, though. Yeah, we've seen Giacomo do it time and time again. So, if you want a safe bet to put it on pole position, he's definitely one to look out for. But yeah, we want to see this Mustang up in the front.
Yeah, for sure. So, it's going to be tight. Like, the thing is, like, we've guessed for Weatherburn and Jay Coleman, but even then, like, you've seen some of the qualifying results over the past couple of rounds before the break just, like, be mega tight within tenths of each other, separating 6-7 positions. So it'll just be that one corner exit, that one mid corner that just someone does slightly better than the next person to kind of get the result.
Yeah, we've definitely seen a lot of tight racing. We'll see tight qualifying. We're going to see a replay here of some curb. Oh, that's too much through there for Squires, into the wall. I guess better to get it out of the way in qualifying to do that in the race, but that's what we were talking about at the start here. Super easy to do something like that, at these big curves of the chicane there, and just throw it into the fence. I'm surprised the Mustang behaves like that, but some of the cars like Graham Hill in the Honda there, I think I've got nightmares now after doing the 12-hour in the Honda, what that car is capable of trying to, the ways that car is capable of trying to murder its driver. Yeah, some of these mid-engine cars are going to be pretty spicy, trying to take as much of that chicane as possible.
Yeah, I mean, I guess all the cars, like, you have some cars that can just take it and no worries. It's kind of like a great equalizer to the other cars that can be faster, but like, I think no matter what through this chicane setup or anything, I think if you just sometimes pick the wrong line or take too much, you're going to get bounced no matter what kind of thing. So it'll be interesting to see develop over the race in this quali, like what cars can take it a bit more and what cannot. But yeah, to see the Mustang kind of just like bounce over it is like, whoa, okay, I thought you'd be able to take that, but
yeah, 100%. And the other thing that these drivers are going to have to look out for is some of these track limits. I guess that first chicane is fairly self-policing. Massive sausage curbs are going to hurt you pretty bad if you try and cut too much of it. But the second chicane and the third chicanes, particularly the second chicane, you can take a lot of that inside track there. But I think it's one of those chicanes where if you can take a lot, but if you take ever so slightly too much, it's a very quick way to walk yourself into a track cut and ultimately a drive-through.
Yeah, absolutely. So we watch Weatherburn put in a 28.2 and jump in the P2, less than a tenth off of Hill there. So, but you're seeing over the lap, Weatherburn's got more time in it. Jack Homan seems to be stuck in kind of a bit of a gaggle here. So that's behind Hill. So whether he just he's going to let him through. So let's see what Jack Homan can unlock with kind of a lap where he's not, as he just goes and smokes the wall. Excellent. Okay, that's not what I was predicting.
Yeah, that bodes well for your prediction there, doesn't it, Connor? Yeah, interesting to see Giacomo back there. I think maybe he is just stuck in a bit of traffic. It is a shorter lap here, similar to the likes of Zandvoort, I think. So very easy to get stuck in traffic if you're not you don't have a big gap on track. So it's definitely something to shout for in this qualifying session. Shout out to Rad at the moment, up in P3 with that going to be a 28-3. Yeah, really good to see him up at the point end of the field at the moment.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, like, just looking off of that there, he's got more time in it before he invalidated. That's the thing. The chicanes draw you into so much time because you've got to cut a certain amount. So, like, it kind of lures you into a false sense of, like, I can cut more, and you lose the sense of where, like, the limit is, you know?
Yeah, I think you're a bit of a track cut connoisseur yourself, aren't you there, Connor?
I do love me a track cut. I do love doing these enduro qualifyings and absolutely smoking 34 laps and then getting one valid. So it's all well and good. Here's another man for a shout for kind of a sneaky pole if he can string the lap together is Tafik in the 2 Fig 2 Furious entry. Definitely has the pace on his day, so it'd be interesting to see if he can kind of... He's got the space, he's got the gap, so it'd be interesting to see in the next 2 laps if he can put it together.
Yeah, there's definitely a few names down there that I'd expect to see up within the top 5 or so that are still hanging back a little bit. Taufik being one of them, obviously Giacomin, even Barker, I think can probably come up a little bit. So I think we're just seeing at the moment people playing it risky with the chicanes, and as we see Squires go to the top with a 27.9. So still a little bit ways off our predictions here of some of the times that we saw in Split Yellow. So that just means there's definitely more time to come for these drivers as they get familiar with the circuit, with these chicanes, and probably start to push a little bit harder now that they've got some decent banker laps on the board there set.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is where the crunch time comes down to, whether under the pressure, under the pump, you can put your best foot forward and put your best lap in. Maybe chat quickly with 2.5 minutes to go, pop in who you think is going to get pole with maybe 1 or 2 flyers left. And to answer your question, Slatey, I thought I'd come up here and talk to you all instead of racing. I don't know, sometimes you just need a break, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I do it myself. It's very easy to get burnt out doing season after season, so always good to pop up in here and have a yarn. First time myself coming up here and having a chat. Something a bit different, helping out behind the scenes. Bit of a change of scenery for me, so yeah, it's good as Audi's popping the chicane. I think Giacomin's might be in a bit of trouble here. He's invalidated again, unless this is Kunov's things, but yeah, we've yet to see him pop a decent representative time on the board here, so might be in a bit of trouble if he can't hook up something good in the next couple of laps here.
And see, that's the thing, that's where the pressure builds and comes in. It's like, oh, okay, I have 1 shot left to do this. I don't know if this is like kind of just showing his out, like this is the first flyer. And yeah, okay, so that was the out lap, so it'll be, or like a first flyer that he's invalidated, so it'll be interesting to see if he can actually nail it. Rad will get 1 more go at it to see if he can improve and drop into the 27s. But yeah, it's always good to help out behind the scenes, especially at league level and especially with a league as good as OR. And praise to Neil Alexander Mullock, the big man himself, who's going through a bit of a rough time right now. And the event that we did the other weekend, the Bathurst 12 Hour, was absolutely special. It was amazing. Probably the best event of the year and one of the best that OR's ever done in terms of getting him and his family up to speed with what's going on with him. So everyone send your love, and we will commentate some race cars in the meantime for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone spare a thought for Noel with what he's going through, and as you said, absolutely ripper of a weekend the other weekend with the Bathurst 12 Hour. Amazing to see everyone chip in and raise so much money for a good cause, and hopefully we can help him out as much as we can with all of that. And we've seen him post up a couple of times about how much that really means to him. So it's sort of a bit of an honour to be a part of that and to help him out as much as we have.
Yeah, for sure. And if you know the man, you know he'd be absolutely down in a 2-litre Fuick or a couple of Fuicks to just like ease the days and let them go by. So Let's jump back on board with quali though. So Squires has pit and currently is indicative of the pole time with a 27.9. Hill, if he can keep this hooked up in the Honda, could take pole here, but he has to finish the lap strong.
Yeah, can be easier said than done in the Honda, I think. It can be a very quick car. First time driving it myself over the Bathurst 12 hour. Very quick car, but it's a tricky one to master. It's so easy to have it throw you off. So we'll see how he goes. He's still got a little bit of time in, a couple attempts up. Oh, it looks like he's had a good chicane. See if we can get a good exit. He's going to hold it. This might be enough to pip him to the top as he goes to P1 with a 27.8.
Yeah, very good lap. I mean, he came through in the clutch when it mattered most. It'll be interesting. Where is, okay, Tafiq is going to cross the line. What's he got? Tafiq couldn't improve. Weatherburn improves above Tafiq for P3. So Jer Coleman is going to be the last person across the line, and he's not going to do it. He's not going to...
Wow.
Ooh, hold on. We got a little bit here. It's not going to be enough, though. I don't reckon. Nah. So, yeah, the pressure seems to got to Jer Coleman, and he's going to be in that mid-pack battle in P13. Thoughts, Liam?
Yeah, a little bit surprised for our championship leader down in P13. Yeah, as you said, building the pressure on him here. I think it's not the easiest track to pass. We did see a few moves in the last race in Split Yellow, but it's not the easiest track to try and get a run on someone. It's more of one where you just have to hang on and hope they make a mistake. So, going to be a difficult race here for Giacomo, and see if he can push his way back to the front. I believe, if I saw correctly, he's on a bit of a winning streak at the moment, so it might be a difficult one to continue this through Zolder here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you've got to fight through the narrow, twisty track, and also, like, if people make mistakes in front of you into turn one, the complex after, or even the first chicane, you've got to be careful, and that's what he's put himself kind of in the position of. As we go down the grid at this gorgeous-looking kind of, there's a Milwaukee Ferrari, good brand of power tools right there. I'm very sad that the Atlanta Hawks Porsche is not in this split anymore, so that makes me incredibly sad. But on the bright side, you got to pick your race winner right here, right now.
Oh, right here, right now, I'm gonna go with Aiden Squires. I think he might put a cheeky one in here for the silver class. Starting from P2, it's a strong spot, and I've now experienced what the Honda can be like as a race car. So my pick's going to be on Squires here. He's starting from the pointy end, so it could be a good run for him.
Well, you have Squires. The Mustang it can be pretty good off the straight line, but also that VTEC in P1. I'm going to go. Oh, I kind of want to pick Yoda, but then. Nah, I'm gonna go with Hill. I'm gonna see if Hill can get it done and put the JDM on top.
Yeah, good call. Definitely a safe prediction choosing P1 here, but yeah, we know what Hill can do behind the wheel. He's a decent, very quick operator himself. Actually had the pleasure of meeting him at the real life Bathurst 12 hour. So he's a lovely bloke as well. So yeah, it's a little bit of a unpredictable race I think we're about to have here. Difficult to choose who's going to come out with the W at the end of the night. Yeah, a few sort of classes thrown in between here, so yeah, it should be a good one for you guys to sit back and enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you've got sorry, as you can hear, my son is in the background asking me about trees on a Game Boy.
You love to hear.
So I think you've also got to remember that from P13 is Jer Coleman, and as Babby points out in chat, that he's going to be storming through the field. So whether like he gets a bit too aggressive or you know he pulls off some mega overtakes and gets up in that lead battle pretty early. You just don't know. Another person's Barker in P12, who can definitely be up there amongst the mix.
Yeah, or could we see him try something a little bit different with the strategy if he manages to keep it clean through the first lap or two there, starting in the middle of the pack with Giacomin. I believe we've got one stop tonight with fixed fuel. So could he try something with the strategy and consider taking that stop nice and early, putting himself in clean air, since it is quite difficult to pass. We've seen that work for people before in the past, so something for him to think about and try something different, see if he can come through that field maybe a slightly different way to what you might expect.
Yeah, for sure. So it'll be interesting to see what it is there. Damiano qualifying well in P7. Albert as an AM, I feel like he's not an AM though. Like, I feel like I've seen a different coloured badge on him before. So, but in P6 and Rad in P5, like a couple of lower classes mixing it up with the big boys. So it's definitely going to be a an interesting kind of start and field formation. What do we got? We got 1 hour. It's the fixed fuel stop. So it'd be interesting to see if people actually do find the worth in taking tyres or not. I don't think the tyre wear is super major around here. I haven't raced here in forever, but also it's 25 seconds and track position at a track like this can be king. I'll let you take the race start, Liam. You've got this.
Yeah, 100%. Let's do it. Yeah, I don't think tyre wear is going to be a big deal here, so we're probably not worth taking tyres, but we'll see what these latest gentlemen try to do as we come around the final corner, getting ready for our race start. It's going to be a tight one as we see Hill take it from Squires, from Yoda, from Taufik. Waiting for the line. Go right out at the back of Hill. Looks like we're going deep as we go green. Good jump for Hill by the looks of it. Squire's going to pop in second. Oh, sticks the nose up there for Weatherburn. So far through toe one, looks like we're fairly clean. A little bit of side-by-side further back there, and we're already single file for the top three. Now's a good chance, while the rest of the field is squabbling, try and make a bit of a break for it. As we come round into turn 4 here. Will we see anyone have a sneaky send at the chicane here? Looks like it might be a little bit wild up the back. So we see some very nice camera work from Mr. Hignan here. Looks like everything's fairly tidy through the chicane. A little bit of side-by-side towards the rear of the field. So far, so good, though. Oh, isn't there's contact already? Oh, it's a bit of a desperate move for the lead, I think, from Squires there. Yeah, but so far, considering we're at Zolder, pretty clean start, I would say.
Yeah, a decently clean start is Weatherburn's going to have a look up the inside, poking the Mustang on Mustang. Get in there, son. Nah, he doesn't want a bar of it. And Squire says, no, thank you. I'm going to keep this spot. But like you've got an hour to play with, boys. Like, it's okay at a track like this. You don't want to be going sending everything and going for sheep stations turn 1. But I guess, like, you know, people do get the whole T1, you win the race kind of shenanigans. So there is yellow flags at the back, 47, please no sadness.
Yeah, I mean, we're all racing drivers at heart, or pretend racing drivers at heart at least, and it's very easy to get into that mindset of win on lap 1, but it's one of these circuits where sometimes it pays off to just sit behind and wait for to make a mistake. So you see a replay here. Oh, that is a lot of curve. I don't know how the Honda actually didn't spin him after that. And that explains the run that he got here, but it looks like he just was a little bit too late, or Hill didn't quite see him coming. Yeah, definitely a interesting try and move for the lead there at the start of this race.
Yeah, for sure. So now that things have stabilised and settled a bit more, so you got Hill in P1, Squires in P2, Weatherburn in P3, Rad in P4, and Taufik in P5, round out your top 5. They're kind of starting to break a little bit away from Thurkalini in P6 there, so kind of we're building a little gap here where you're kind of devising your groups up, and Rad is doing an excellent job right now, just kind of staying calm, staying collected, and just kind of putting his like, you know, knows where it needs to be, and it's good to see.
Yeah, definitely good to see some different names up at the pointy end as we see. Oh, a couple of fastest lap back to back, 28.9 for Squires. It looked like Squires was sort of starting to almost become a cork in the bottle here a little bit as as that gap's come back down to 0.7. Yeah, it looks like we'll see this top 5 looks to be, or top 6 looks to be pretty tight up here. So if it stays like this, it might make the race nice and interesting for us. But yeah, starting to get into a little bit of a recession here, but it is only the first 4 minutes or so, so still a long way to go. So we get a replay of the start here on board with Ferrari. I want to say that's Giacomin, if I had to guess, white Ferrari.
Yeah, I'd nearly say this is Jack Homan looking at the angle, or he's going to send it. Oh no, sadness. No sadness. Almost sadness. Nah, he's kind of stayed in his own little thing. Oh, he sent that. That is absolutely, he's taken that, paid for all the track and absolutely just left the door wide open.
Yeah, definitely. To quote Daniel Ricciardo, licked a stamp and sent it into that one. Made up a few spots. He started back in P13, he's up to P9. Maybe not as many spots as we might have been expecting him to make up, but as we say, it's a difficult track to pass here, so I think that's a pretty solid first couple of laps for him to make his way through the fields. We can see a replay coming into the second chicane here. It was a few fastest laps back to back. Bit of a lunge for the Lambo. Oh,
Ooh.
and that's Parker around. That's not a very nice spot to have to sit and wait for the whole field to come past you either.
Yeah, and see, that thing I was talking about before, where it's like that's a little edgy, that's a little kind of on the nose, you know, a little bit of impatience. Like, you know, you got 55 minutes left, and you're trying to send it probably from Spa-Francorchamps all the way to Zolder. So hopefully they can resume their races and be okay. But as we watch Rad navigate the chicane, the McLaren look quite good through there.
Yeah, surprising to see the McLaren well behaved across the bumps. Yeah, I think there might be a slap of the naughty stick coming from our stewards after that incident. But we shall wait and see exactly what they decide here. It looks like the gap to our front two is sort of stabilised. Yoda almost becoming the cork in the bottle here as we see, oh, Rad go very defensive against Taufik. Taufik's going to show the nose, not quite. I think Taufik's probably got the overall pace on Rad here, so like we've just been saying, it looks like Taufik, he's an experienced operator here. He's going to have the patience and the know when to strike and when to stay back, and he might just sort of wait for that. He's going to wait for that perfect opportunity to send one through on Rad.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, yeah, Taufik's been around for ages, and credit to him for being like so consistent, so clean for so long. He knows where to place the car, when to overtake, when not to overtake. So he'll be there or thereabouts, just seeing what Rad does, just seeing what Yoda does, just seeing what the boys out front do, and kind of being like, oh, well, I can push here and not push there, and you know, and kind of see if he can pick his gaps in an efficient manner. But these guys are starting to stretch their legs, as you see Taufik in the background there, just poking his nose out, letting Rad know he's there, and watching them all go over the... I wonder if they pump their tyres up correctly for the pressure loss too. Like that as Dercolini.
Damiano, we saw the big wobble. He's going to lose a position out to King from that. Yeah, like we were kind of saying in the qualifying there, it's one of those corners where if you get it slightly wrong, it's super easy to lose a position through there. Some very nice camera angles. Looks like Taufik's just dropped off the back of Rad there as well. I wonder if he's made a little bit of a mistake himself, or whether he's just being patient and waiting for the perfect opportunity to make a move.
Could be a bit of both. Could have made a slight mistake or pulled up slightly too early, and then just like kind of waiting. Like it is a kind of a waiting game now for Taufik to see what these guys in front do, whether they battle lots or whether they, like, you know, just go in procession. Squires drops in the fastest lap with a 28.1. So we're starting to see the lap time slowly come down.
Yeah, that's actually not too far off of the top quali pace. I think it was a 27.9. I think we saw in quali. So yeah, it's pretty. Oh, Rad's out wide. Is he going to hang on to it? Oh yeah, Taufik must have made it. I would have thought Taufik would have been through with that sort of mistake there from Rad, but it's allowed him to close back up. He's going to have a good run. We're going to have a look at the chicane. I don't think he's close enough there. He's not going to have... He goes defensive. Not going to have a move there, but so easy to make a mistake through here. So I think it's just a matter of time before Taufik gets past Rad here. Just pile the pressure on him, and we know Taufik can definitely excel at doing that.
Yeah, it's just a matter of Taufik putting those screws in and kind of like, you know, just nailing lap after lap after lap. It's also a thing of here, going through these chicanes, track limits. Be interesting to see if anyone gets a DT or anything tonight, because they can kind of be sneaky, especially in that second chicane, just hunting for time.
Yeah, absolutely. It's super easy. It's one of those ones where you just take ever so slightly too much, and those last few chicanes, there's not a lot to stop you from taking that. The cars will happily do it. So very easy to get a track cut through there. As we're going to catch a replay here on board the Aston Martin. As you see, a 27.9 fastest lap of the race. The McLaren just a little bit wide coming out of that corner up towards the first chicane there. Side by side into the chicane. You've got the other driver has to be pretty cooperative to get through here side by side as he backs out of it. Pretty safe so far. Good driving from the two of them.
Yeah, very safe. I thought there was going to be sadness there, but Ben's showing us all the safe manoeuvres. So the man behind the camera, behind the sticks, doing a good job again. As Taufik's going to have another look on Rad. Rad's got nerves of steel here right now. It's just kind of holding his own, just holding his line. Look at him bounce, just pogo across that first chicane. All right, I have a question, Lee.
Yes, go ahead.
So for you, and also for the chat, and maybe also for Ben on the cameras, favorite? No, we're not in Italy, so it's not rigatoni, Ben. Race control, even one of you. Favorite chocolate?
Ooh, favorite chocolate.
So it can be like
brand?
It can be like white, or it can be brand, or it can be. No, we'll go with like. Do you call it type? Do you call it
yeah,
style?
I guess so. Yeah.
Because I'm gonna go with dark chocolate. I love dark chocolate, but chocolate also gives me headaches, so I don't eat it a lot. But
Okay. Yeah, I can get behind the dark chocolate, but it's got to be the right dark chocolate. I myself, I like a white chocolate. Something, yeah, a little bit different maybe compared to most, but yeah, I love myself a white chocolate or milk chocolate. But yeah, usually I always look for a good white chocolate.
yeah, white can always be pretty good.
Which I think you can technically
in
argue
chat
white
if you
chocolate
wanna.
isn't actually chocolate, but that's a different argument for another day, I think.
Yeah. Nah, it is Project Delta. It is a choco.
As we see another replay. Oh, bit squirrely from the car. Oh, that's a bit rude trying to get past there. He saw the gap, and there was an Aston Martin size gap there, and only Aston Martin size. As I think that was no, that wasn't King. That was Atkins coming through there. No, as we looks like this is continuing on. There's more. Oh, that's a big send from the McLaren. Oh no!
Oh no!
That looks like Kunos things there. I think that was a bit of a weird way to contact that.
We will keep our commentary hats on up here in the booth because I do not want to decipher that incident. So we will let the stewards do that. We have live stewards, so we'll let them deal with that, and they can hand out the big hammers, the big sticks. So as we jump back on board to this lead battle, so Squires is second down, and he has a further second gap to Weatherburn. So kind of they're starting to space out a little bit. So this is what I was talking about earlier, where it can kind of come a bit of a procession if people don't take onto the back of each other and kind of form a bit of a conga line in a way.
Oh, as we see, I think that was all four wheels off the deck there for Squires over that chicane. Yeah, it's super easy to space out on this track. Brad still hanging in there into P4 with those. I think there must be a Ferrari badge like stenciled into his eyeballs at this point. Taufik's been pretty relentless here, only a couple of tenths behind him. So he's doing really well to hang on to that as the front three just sort of separate and spread out a little bit. on board here inside the helmet of Damiano. I don't know if we can hear his thoughts from here. He gets very close to the back of King there in the Mercedes. So King, he hasn't, once he made that mistake, looks like King has been able to run away a little bit from Damiano, but still holding in P7 there.
Yeah, for sure. So it'll be interesting to tag back onto that battle kind of over the course of the race. But we're still on board with Rad here, who has Tafik behind. But he is starting to drop back from Weatherburn, so kind of these guys are kind of... If Tafik wants to gain anywhere on the podium, he's definitely got to start thinking about tightening the screws a bit more on the back of Rad's McLaren, kind of, you know, dummying him a little bit, trying to force an error out of him somewhere through the chicanes or even through the back end of the track, I think.
Yeah, I think forcing a mistake is going to be the best way to get past him here. It's not a huge amount of opportunities to get past any other way, so as he's kind of doing here, just keep piling the pressure on the back of that McLaren and waiting him to either go deep or take slightly too much curb and make a move. So you see Giacomin right on the back of George here. He's going to send the nose up as George cooperates, and that's another position up for Giacomin. As a very nice move into that second chicane there. I did hear our commentators of Split Yellow talking about some of the corner names here. I don't know if you've ever seen them, but some of those words look like they're too long to be one word.
I have not seen them, but come on, I have a high school degree. I'm sure I could pronounce some or listen to some be pronounced.
Well, if you want to see that, you should go back to Split Yellow, I think, because I don't know if I can even say some of these. That hairpin's a mouthful. Hang on, let me give them up and I'll see if I can try for you here.
Go on, give it a go.
So the last hairpin is Bolderberg Haarspelt Bocht, I think, something along those lines. Yeah, Bocht in Dutch seems to be bend. That's about as far as I can translate any of those. But yeah, these are not particularly friendly corner names for anyone who speaks English like us boring people.
They were calling the hairpin Boulderbock. Right, got it. Or Boulderberg. There we go. We're shortening it. We're putting the Aussie dream on it, the Aussie spin.
If it was going to be the Aussie spin, wouldn't it be the Boldo hairpin?
Yes.
Make it super short. Yeah, Dutch is an interesting language. The words don't quite look right, but as we see, Taufik trying to show the nose. He is really, as if anyone watched Split Yellow, you'll get that reference, the circuit Bruno Ellis. But yeah, we see Taufik really piling the pressure on Rad here, just trying to show the nose, but as you said, nervous feel for Rad trying to keeping in front of him here and not making, it's coming to the pressure, not making any mistakes just yet.
Yeah, it's actually a really good drive here from Rad to just kind of, like, you know, hold his own. But he is, like, he's kind of actually drew the gap or kept the gap into Weatherburn by a little bit. So he is tagging along there, which is good, but it's just Lang. Squires has improved the gap over Weatherburn, and Hill has improved the gap over Squires. So, you know, they're kind of toing and froing for a bit, so it'll be interesting to see if they all nail their stops and if everyone kind of keeps a good thing in the pit lane. No smoking of the pit walls, no accidental wheel DCs, you know, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's a tricky pit lane. And the other thing you got to watch out for is if you're tucked up behind a car in front of you who's not pitting and you are, you make sure you don't annihilate the back of the car in front of you, because that pit lane is right off the back of the last chicane. You just head straight into it, whereas the cars in front of you will be braking for that corner. So yeah, I'll make sure you don't smoke the back of the car in front or smoke any of those pit walls and annihilate the speed line either. Taufik still really close on the back of Rad here, just trying to show the nose, feeling his mirrors. I think he'll certainly be aware of his presence at this point in the race, but yeah, doing super well to hang on to it here and not feel the pressure of that Ferrari too much.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's going to be it's going to be how long he can hold his nerve for, how long he can just hang in there and keep the pace up.
Yeah, and I think if you're Taufik at this point is where you might start thinking about trying to do an early pit stop. We know he's got the pace overall, so thinking about an early undercut, try and undercut to Rad here, an early pit stop might be the play. So we've got a bit of a battle pack here towards the midfield. Four cars pretty close all for position here. The Lambo of Bishop up behind Macaulay. Looks like it's towards battle for M-Class Podium. Albert up in P11 there for M-Class. Barker trying to push his way back through after the early misfortunes that happened here. So we'll see how Barker navigates these slightly slower lower class cars, the M class. I think Barker, we know what he's like. He has how do I put this? He's got a little bit of a reputation for maybe being aggressive and pushing moves, but it's certainly one way to work his way through the field, and he's definitely good at that.
Nah, absolutely not.
Yeah, so, is the Lambo going to throw the nose? Makes through just. That's going to allow Barker to get back side by side with Bishop. And he's going to have the inside line here for this final chicane. He's trying to squeeze him, but that's going to be side by side, and he's going to have no choice but to let Barker back through. So Barker up to, that should be P13 once they cross the line and that leaderboard updates. So after his early misfortunes, he's certainly making his way back up there, up through the field. As we see Joe Coleman up behind the Porsche of Fercolini here. As we see a Ferrari, monster truck over the chicane, gets out of the way. Yeah, super easy to make a big mistake like that and send it over the chicane.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, like, I reckon if he took more chicane, I reckon it would have been okay. He just didn't take enough. He didn't commit. He didn't commit to the chicane, you know? We're back on board with this battle with Rad and Taufik. And as we go back to the Bishop, kind of, this is a gaggle of cars. What's going on here into this second chicane? Go on. I thought there was a bit of connection at the back there, a bit of rubber banding, they all kind of touched each other, said good day, gave a smooch, and they're out of the second chicane pretty much unharmed.
Yeah, somehow all four of these cars are still alive after that little squabble there. It's really easy for it to get messy here. As you see, Rad's made a mistake. That's a shame for Rad, who was holding on to that really well. Nice camera work there, Ben, by the way. Yeah, big. As Barker sends the nose, not quite. Really aggressive move here from Barker. Yeah, shame for Rad there. It looks like he might have finally crumbled on the pressure of Taufik. Being on his rear bumper for the best part of 20 minutes. So, yeah, disappointing for Rad there.
Hopefully he can mitigate. So where's he fallen to? How far has he fallen? Oh, wow. He's fallen quite a way, hasn't he? Hopefully he can mitigate that and kind of, crawl his way back up a few spots to get to where he kind of was before. As we see, Jake Homan's in P7, so he's making his way in 20 minutes up the grid. As we jump on board with Rad Racing, John Rad into turn 1. I got a feeling that is a lot of bump from the McLaren. Does he keep down the fence? He sure does. Lights up those tyres. Happy days. They'd probably be screaming a little bit, but that's okay.
Yeah, not a little mistake either. That's gone a long way into the gravel, so that explains the position loss of those few positions there. Must have taken him a second to get back out of that gravel trap. Yeah, a lot of time loss in that mistake there for Rad. So a little bit unfortunate for him, but not over yet. Still a long way to go, and still in the lead of Pro-Am after all that as well. So we cut back to Giacomo right on the back of Damiano, another experienced operator that we have here. So we'll see how long he can hold him off for. Looks like he's going to get a good run out of this turn 4 down to, turn 3 into turn 4. Corner ahead of myself already. Yeah, this one's going to be a lot of pressure for Damiano to absorb here and see if he can hold him off for as long as possible.
absolutely no Combox bias, but I fake Damiano can do it. Come on, Damiano. Oh, that's not the way to do it, son. You took too much. Oh, as we get a bit of touch there between the McLaren of Macaulay and the Ferrari of Barker. The Gunnico side by side. And yeah, I thought his exit out of that chicane for Thurcolini was just a little bit kind of Ben is swapping the cameras before I can even finish explaining. He's doing some absolute matrix stuff. So Barker's through on Macaulay, through Peter, through turn 2, and Jack Homan is in the P6 after Thurcolini's little mishap out of the first chicane.
Yeah, it looks like he just took a lot of curb on that on the second half of that first chicane there, and unfortunately just dropped the position to Giacomin. A little bit wide, a bit of oversteer. That's all the invitation that Giacomin needs, just to send the Ferrari up on through. Just a little mistake has cost him there, and that's all it's going to take here at this circuit, is just that tiny bit too much curb and an awkward bounce. As we see, Barker is now got back on top of Macaulay. Bishop has come back into the battle here after that little squabble as well.
Whoa, that was anyway, commentator hat stays on.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there.
Barker tries to steal the sign for good measure. I have a feeling Macaulay was trying to get to the pit lane, and whoever that was in front of him was not. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, well, it looks like Barker was trying to turn just to go normally, as Jack Homan decides that is my bit of track. I paid for it. I paid $9 here 9 years ago to the Italian gods, this Kunos, and I'm having it. And Thurcolini's all over the back of King too now, so I'll be interested to see if he can make a move. But yeah, I feel like Barker was just trying to do another lap, get around, and whether Macaulay's just missed his braking mark or whether the person behind him has tapped him into him. But yeah, I don't know. Whoa, look at them all go shooting in there into that. I'll tell you what though, I reckon Barker could change that sign and make it an LED sign for like $9.95 or something, I reckon. Look at it.
Change it to a Milwaukee sign, you reckon?
Absolutely. Promotion. It's promotion. It's free promotion.
I think they should be paying him for it. Yeah, it's as I said at the start of the quali session, it's a spooky pit lane when you're just watching other cars fly through there, and I'm not sure if we'll get a replay of what happened there. I'm feeling Macaulay was trying to get through the pit lane and just misjudged it with Barker. But yeah, super unfortunate events there for Barker to get collected up in that one.
Yeah, like maybe we could get a replay on it from a couple of different angles once these pit stops kind of die down a little bit and kind of try to decipher what happened. But yeah, like I don't know, like it's one of those pit lane entries that's like the entry is worse than the exit.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very easy to misjudge it and not either collect the car in front of you or collect the pit wall. So you see, I think Macaulay was trying to get to the pit lane and Barker was taking the chicane ready for another lap there. Yeah, one of the nights I'm glad I'm not a steward, and I'm glad I don't have to decide what sort of how big of the naughty stick bonk is going to be coming in with that one for Macaulay.
I reckon what should happen is that they should write on the sign that Barker stole how big the balk should be, so that like he can carry that kind of like that balk around with him for the rest of the race, you know?
Yeah, definitely. That was a brutal onboard to watch. That's super unlucky to get caught up in that. I'll tell you what though, Giacomin now free of traffic and pulling away from this little battle here with King and Thurcolini. So we'll keep an eye on that gap and see how long it might take him to catch up to the back of Taufik. There's a lot, 9 seconds in this, so still half the race to go, just over half the race. So it's not over yet for him. He may still be able to push his way back up through.
Yeah, well, look, when Jack Homan gets free air, he's incredibly quick and he's incredibly consistent. So now that he's kind of came through from 13th from the mid pack and has free track, like, he definitely could challenge. I don't know if he can challenge like your Hill and Squires, maybe, but he also has to pass through like Tafiq and Weatherburn. So that bottom step of the podium is still on for him, all things considered, in the next half an hour.
Yeah, absolutely. Do we think that Yoda's made a mistake here, or Taufik has just found a ton of pace? I think there was a few seconds gap between the two of them here. We now see Taufik is closed right up to the back of Weatherburn in the Mustang. So either a bit of a mistake, or yeah, Taufik's finally got some clean air and has got that Ferrari spooled up and absolutely flying. As we see, is Yoda going to let him pass? No, not quite. Yeah, he is. So I'm not sure if Yoda's got a little bit of an issue. Weatherburn's got some issues there with his Mustang, or he's just playing a bit more of a tactical game with Taufik. But yeah, some interesting racecraft going on here on the circuit.
Yeah, I don't know. Unless he's gonna, the only thing I could, as Taufik almost puts it into the world, that is excellent. You love that when you let someone through. To the thing I was gonna say is, like, is he letting? So here we go. Oh, did he accidentally switch the car off?
I thought I saw some brake lights, so not quite sure exactly what. Yeah, as he just gives the dab of brakes here. So he's obviously got some sort of broader strategy in mind. He's definitely thinking about the big picture here, not so much the right here, right now. As we see Taufik come in for his pit stop. So didn't end up taking the early stop. Rad cleared the path for him. So yeah, definitely a big picture thought come on here with Weatherburn, whether he's figured it's better to not try and waste some time battling with Taufik and just let him through, and maybe Weatherburn's fueled to go long here in this race.
Maybe that's the thing as well. Well, it's got to be something like that, or like he had a shifting moment where the car wouldn't shift, but it did shift. I don't know. But the other thing I thought it could have been as well is, like, if you if you know someone's faster than you by a little bit, you let them through to kind of see if they can tack onto the back of the people in front of you and challenge them, kind of see if they can upset the order in a little bit. But they kind of all just pitted at the same time, so it defeats that purpose as well.
Yeah, definitely some bigger strategy thoughts going on here for Weatherburn. I have a feeling he's fueled to go very long into this race, and he just didn't want to lose or waste the time battling with Taufik here. So we'll see how this plays out in the long run. As Taufik gets, oh, what happened there? I think that is big. Hill was slow to remove his pit limiter, and we see Taufik make the pass out of the pit exit. Is that's for the net lead of the race, isn't it?
Hold on. Squires is in the net lead of the race. So Squires has jumped Hill by a lot, and Taufik has jumped Hill. So what has happened to Hill? Has Hill been moved? Or did he have damage or something? Or did Hill take tyres? Did Hill take tyres?
Yeah, potentially. Yeah, that's kind of blown this race wide open now. I don't think Hill would have had any damage. He was sitting out in front. I don't think he made any mistakes that we saw. So, yeah, some interesting strategy plays going on here. So, that's definitely what you need at Circuit Zolder to make the race interesting. So, yeah, Squires has gained and benefited massively from all of those pit stops. So, as we see a replay, yeah, Squires has just taken... I think you're right. I think Hill's taken tyres. How did Taufik get ahead of him? I think Hill must have been slow to remove his pit limiter. Yes, very interesting.
Like bumbling with it or something, like, it just had to have been super slow. Yeah, so Squires didn't take tyres, and he's going to go out. I'm going to assume Yoda hasn't taken tyres either. And Taufik hasn't, I'm going to assume, taken tyres, unless someone in the chat can let us know if Yoda and Taufik have taken tyres. Is anyone in the chat with Hill to see if Hill has taken tyres? Well, Hill has to have taken tyres, hasn't he? Like, realistically. And the other three haven't.
Yeah, as we see a big bonk on the naughty stick with Macaulay there, I think we kind of expected that to be coming. Rob Underwood has confirmed that Squires has not taken tyres, so, and I think that's the right call at this circuit. There's not a lot of tyre wear. Oh, that's a that's a lot of curve for the Honda. I don't know how that thing hasn't killed him yet. So, but yeah, and there's only a few seconds between them here. So definitely battle for the podium is hotting up as this race progresses.
Well, that's the thing, right? So, like, it shows, look at the gap that Squires has gained from not taking tyres on Hill, who was, like, pretty, like, not comfortably in the lead, but, like, you know, he solidly had the lead. Like, his turn, that is massive. That is huge.
Yeah, he's gained. I think he's lost a couple of seconds. He must have been slow to remove that pit limiter because it's an extra 5 seconds for tires. But yeah, as we can see, the gap between Squires and Taufik is about 7 seconds. So I think Hill has lost out in that.
Okay.
Yeah, I would definitely not be taking tires here, but we'll see how this plays out. He's going to have more grip towards the end of the race, though.
Well, all three of them are, because Babby's saying in chat, everyone, Yoda and Taufik have taken tyres. So these three have taken tyres, and Squires hasn't. So towards the end of the race, they're going to be hunting Squires down pretty, as you watch. Look at that Honda, just absolutely, and the Mustang. Look at them go. So yeah, the three chasing pack of Squires have all taken tyres. So it'd be interesting to see how much of a hunt they're on now. Unless
they've copped a lot of pressure loss from absolutely annihilating these curves, and they've lost a lot of pressure out of their tyres. That may be a reason why they've decided to take some fresh boots here. But yeah, it's gonna be a charging pack right up to the back of Squires here. So we'll have to keep an eye on this gap as this race goes through in the last 25 minutes here. I expect those three to be closing up pretty soon. Squires, as Rob Underwood confirms in chat, Squires is on 3 track limit warnings, so he's going to have to be pretty damn careful with these chicanes.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't hunt for time now, especially. So, Gorilla's saying that they'll catch Squirrels in the next 5 or 6 laps. It depends, really. Like,
Yeah.
It depends how much his tyres drop off and if he can just hold on. Like, if he can just... Depends how quick... If they're digging deep and like, they have the ultimate pace over Squires, then yeah, I can see it happening in the next, say, 10 odd minutes. They'll catch him. It's another thing to pass, though, because he can defend for his life. He can defend like a lion.
You just stole the words out of my mouth. I was about to say it's one thing to catch, it's another thing to pass. So, or he could get a track limit cut and get a DT and have him just slide out of the way for him. But as we see, Giacomo with a 10-second penalty for one of his moves back on lap 17. So that's going to hurt his charge up the field here. Yeah, a little bit unfortunate with that penalty, but yeah, it's gonna be an interesting one to see them close up, and I think it should be pretty exciting out of this race.
Well, this makes it legitimately. So let's look at that. Let's look at that gap. It's 5.2 now. Wasn't it about 7?
Second, yeah.
Wasn't it about 7? So as we jump on board with a replay for yes, I remember this. That's a bit opportunistic by Giacomo there to kind of just force your way through. Like,
yeah, I did think that was a bit rude. Just send the nose in there, so maybe a justified penalty on that. But yeah, that gap was around 7 seconds when the pit stops all played out. So, and that was only 5 or 6 minutes ago. So yeah, I think they're probably catching quarter of a second to half a second a lap on Squires here.
Half a second, I'd say. Yeah, kind of. We're looking at it now as you jump through. Yeah, 4.7. So they've already caught half a second in that first quarter of the track alone, first third of the track. So
it's gonna be close.
Depends. It's gonna heat up with 4 cars, and it just depends. Like, will Squires have the metal to kind of defend? Like, I get what's being said in chat. Like, the tyre drop off is gonna be, by the looks of it, pretty hard and pretty harsh compared to these three. So, but he can also just try to place his car in the right option spots and see if he can back them into fighting each other in a way.
Yeah, you can absolutely defend for your life at this circuit. Fairly easy to defend as well. So, yeah, we'll see how this goes. Judging by the quick, oh, so we see a meatball flag out there for someone. That's not never a good sign. I've just done some quick mental math, and I think they're going to be probably catch the back of him by between 5 and 10 minutes to go, I think. So, yeah, stay tuned for the end of this race, ladies and gentlemen. I think it's going to be an exciting crescendo, exciting end for it.
I tell you what, like, speaking off the track, right? How good are meatballs? Like, just how good are meatballs, though?
And got us straight away to thinking about food. Yeah.
Food
Absolutely.
with a nice beverage, you know, like, yum,
Oh,
yum, yum.
that was a lot of curve. Sorry. That was a lot of curve for the Honda there. This Honda is being surprisingly friendly to hill. Unfortunately for me, it was not so friendly in the 12 hour. So, yeah, working well with the Honda here. I didn't think it would be a strong one to take a lot of curve, but maybe we're seeing opposite here.
He's absolutely throwing it at the curb too, just letting it kind of sail over like a monster truck. So it'd be interesting to see if he's jacked those tyres up enough to kind of mitigate, because that'd be losing pressure through that. There's just no way. Same as all the other guys, they'd be losing pressure. But I wonder what Squire's pressures are at that he's on, like tyres that have been through a cycle, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you'd be copping mad pressure loss across a lap of this circuit. So, yeah, it'd be interesting to know what his tyre pressures are like. Whether he's been able to sort of pressure them high enough to account for that pressure loss over the course of the race. So you see that gap's now come down to 3 seconds. So they're catching them pretty quickly. We might see him on the back here on the back of Squires within the next 5 minutes or so, if they continue this closing pace. So gonna be exciting.
And then, yeah, it all depends. It's going to all depend then on just how much metal Squires has, like whether he's willing to like fight for it. Because I don't think Squires doesn't have a sprint win, right? Like a does he? Can anyone tell me?
Not that I can think of. No, I don't believe so. So yeah, when it gets to that point, I can only assume he's going to defend for his life. I don't know why you wouldn't. I mean, the lead of any race, you absolutely defend as hard as you can. So, yeah, I think we're going to see hopefully a nice defensive display here for Squires. If he can hold off the pressure of Taufik, which we saw earlier is not necessarily easy to do at all.
It's just going to be like what he's got to do and what he's got to get in the mindset of. And like I know for like, I guess less experienced drivers, it's difficult in the heat of the moment, but don't defend like space or fresh air. You're always like, if he's like 6/10, 7/10 back, like you still don't really need to defend just yet, because he's not there. Like the car is not there to be worthy of defending yet. It's when within 3-4 tenths that you start kind of looking at, oh well, I'm going to start placing my car at certain angles to make them drive around me, in a sense.
Yeah, it can be really easy to lose a lot of time defending nothing. As this gap is 1.5 seconds. So did Squires make a bit of a mistake there potentially? It seems like he's closed about a second in the last lap or so. I was just looking there and noticing they're in the same frame. So yeah, it's definitely a lot more pace in these cars behind. So he is going to have to defend for his life in the next 15 minutes of this race.
And it's gonna feel like it's half an hour, with like that time will just be dragging and slowly.
Yeah, definitely. As Fluky's saying in chat, they had no pressure loss during that race. So interesting to hear that from some of these guys who were just driving before. I would have expected for some. Oh, Connor, don't you start that already? In the chat here.
Definitely not a preloaded question.
Yeah, I would have expected to see some pressure loss. Unfortunately, Fluky had his own loss, getting entangled with a GTR. Super unfortunate to see. But yeah, this is about to get very interesting, ladies and gentlemen. Do not go anywhere. This is going to get good.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got your 4 racing leaders all now within a second and a half. So it'll be interesting to see. And just look at the extra grip that Tafiq has over Squires right now. Like,
yeah, maybe we were wrong. Maybe taking tyres was the strategy. But yeah, I mean, 15 minutes left in this race is a fair bit of time. So there's a lot of time for Taufik. Taufik can afford to sit back and be patient as he sees all over the back of this Mustang already. Trying to go around the outside of this hairpin. That's not going to work. That's quite allow Hill to get an overlap. Not quite. What? Ooh. Where is Hill going? Trying to get an overlap here. So they're going to squabble here, and it's going to bring Yoda straight into this fight as well. Yeah, we might say a 4-way battle for the lead coming up here. And I am keen to see every minute of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're Tafiq or even Hill, even Weatherburn, all of them, you're not getting too impatient. You still have 16 minutes or 15 minutes now. You still have plenty of time to kind of force a move in a way or get a move done. You don't have to force it within the first minute or two, unless of course it comes to you in your lap. But if he's defending well and if he's placing the car in certain spots where you're like, okay, I can't force a move super early, but his exit and run out of, you've only got one move there, Squires. Come on, son.
Yeah, defending really hard as we thought he was going to, and don't forget that Squires is on 3 track limits here, so he has not got a lot of wiggle room to play for. If he runs a little bit deep into one of these chicanes and just takes slightly too much curb, it is basically race over for him at this point. So there's a lot of pressure for Squires to try and soak up here, so we'll see how well he holds on this.
Yeah, absolutely, and he's got to do what he's doing right now. He just has to have look at the grip around the outside. Oh, this is bad. The drive oh, come on. This is going to be side by side into the final corner. I reckon Tafiq's got it. If he just brakes super late, there's going to be no turn in. There's a little bit there, a little bit of door banging. Rubbin's racing. Yeah, he's developed now. Now, Hill and Weatherburn have to get through here within the next lap or so, because otherwise Tafiq's just going to dance off down the road.
Yeah, 100%. And what's that? Around the outside of that back hairpin. So that just goes to show the grip differential between the used tyres and the new tyres. So I guess we were wrong. Seems like taking new tyres was the strategy to play for here. Being able to hold around the outside of the hairpin. So... yeah, but yeah, you're 100% right. These two cars need to get a wriggle on here and try and get past him if they want to keep in touch with Taufik and have any chance of fighting for the lead. As Hill just shows the nose there, making sure that Squires is aware that he's... How is that Honda putting up with that much abuse? I do not know. Yeah, just keeping himself in the mirror, making sure that Squires is aware, trying to get him to defend, and just placing the car somewhere that anywhere where Hill can get an overlap. Oh no! As we see the Honda proceed to do Honda things off the back of that curve.
You have absolutely cursed that man.
I have to take that one, don't I?
You're giving him a commentator's blessing. That is, Hill, please send your your details to Mr. Liam Hamilton. I'm sure he'll fix you up with some relief after that.
Yeah, I forget the power that we possess up here. It's yeah.
About 10 seconds earlier, you were just like, oh, how's that Honda taking that abuse? Smallest bump, no abuse.
It wasn't even the sausage that did it though. It was just the little curves. Oh, Graham, I'm so sorry. Yeah. That is an unfortunate one. Oh no, he did flip that inside sausage of that the corner after the chicane. So yeah, that's a pretty unlucky one. I guess the one less car that Yoda will have to pass here, and yeah, one less car that Squires is going to have to worry about defending against. So makes their lives a little bit easier up the front. But yeah, that's an unfortunate one at the moment.
All this means now is that Yoda has to keep in touch of the race lead and the race win, Yoda just has to get through kind of this Mustang to keep in touch with Tafiq. Tafiq's already stretched out nearly 2 seconds.
Yeah, sorry, not Yoda. Squires is becoming a bit of a cork in the bottle here, as you see Weatherburn try and hold around the outside. Not quite as much grip in the Mustang compared to the Ferrari, as Squires is going to go super defensive into this final chicane here. Will we see Weatherburn be able to hold it around the outside? Oh, he might be able to. He's kept it there. Will he get a run? No, not enough speed on the exit. Allow Squires just to walk away there and keep that position for yet another lap.
Yeah, it's like as if when he gets the moments like now, oh, he just kind of isn't in the right position to perform the overtaking away. So hold it tight on the inside, see if you can get alongside him. Nah, he's not going to have enough.
Yeah, super close racing going on here, though. There's a lot of side-by-side moments. Just stick it in the nose in, just making sure that Squires is aware of Weatherburn's presence behind him, and I can assure you he's not forgetting about that one in a hurry here. But no, you know what? I'm not going to say that again, because we know what happened last time I did that. Yeah, so just the perfect car placement here for Squires, just to keep Weatherburn behind him here. Equal cars as well, so same strengths and weaknesses of the two. As we see a bit of a late move for, I think that was Bishop in the Lambo, getting tangled with the other V10 brother in the field.
Yeah, that's a bit of sadness going into the chicane, thinking you have, like, you know, you've got more room than you do. So, but we're back on board with this battle. So Weatherburn and Squires. So Squires has dropped 4.2 seconds now to Tafiq. So Yoda has to get through. This is where you start kind of putting in the crunch time, the pressure of like, well, it's kind of like the now or never moments. You kind of have to see if you can. There we go. Look at that. He's on the inside, the grip. He should have enough of a run through here to hold him off. Yeah, we're going side by side into turn 3, turn 4 complex. Hold it around the outside. No, he's clipped a bit too much on the... Oh, no, yeah, he has. He's clipped a bit too much on the inside there. So let's see what the run is like. Oh, there's a bit of touching. Oh, and there's a bump. Oh, that's... Let's see what happens here. We're going down into the second chicane. We're going down into some Belgium name chicane. I can't pronounce it properly. That's a late move. That's a dive and a half. He's going to have to rescind that.
Yeah, that was getting pretty spicy for a second there. I don't know how Weatherburn didn't fall off the road coming into that first chicane. He was very
there we
close.
go. There we go. There's that drive through.
Squires cut the track, and is unfortunately going to have to then make way for Weatherburn to come straight past. Yeah, I think we saw Squires try and was basically left nowhere to go through there, and almost forced to cut the chicane. So, and as we heard before, that he was sitting on track 3 track limits. So, yeah, that's unfortunately a DT for Squires. So we're going to see a replay. Squires has gone a little bit defensive, and Weatherburn just sent it down the inside. Just about did get it stopped for the corner, so
I think he was there enough. Like, if you look at the braking, he was above his back wheel arch. He was there enough to kind of either make Squires pull out or make Squires perform the old skipperoo through the grass.
Yeah, it was aggressive move, but I think it was right on the line of where he needed it to be. Yeah, I think that was probably that was okay as far as the move goes. And I think Squires probably could have backed out of it rather than try and force the issue with cut chicane. And unfortunately, now he's reaping the consequences of his own actions.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as things are stabilising for a little bit, we're on board with Rad, and then we have... So there's a back mark in between them, but then we have Albert back there in the... No, there's not, sorry. George is there in P9. and Albert's in P10. So the battle for the minor places in the top 10 is still kind of like, you know, heated up. I just want to say that Jed Coleman has quietly got up to 4th. And he's within a huge shout for a podium, especially with that wounded Honda.
Yeah, while we were all busy looking at that battle with Squires and the other couple of cars there, Jed Coleman just quietly working away in the background, no eyes on him. And sure enough, he's back up to P4, roughly 4 seconds to Hill. So something to keep an eye on with that gap as we come back to your Pro-Am podium battle here. As we, okay, I guess the Rad is taking another. You reckon he's underfueled? That he's already taken his mandatory pit stop, so that seems a little bit of an interesting call there.
Yeah, absolutely. So, look, there's actually been quite a bit going on in this race, hasn't there? Like, realistically.
Yeah, more than I was expecting. So maybe some strategy mistakes from a few of the drivers here. Yeah, it's just allowed Sicanius to come straight up through and take that P1 position for Pro-Am.
Yeah, absolutely. So, well, he's got... I mean, it's a consistent... So he's got P1, yep, so Rad's going to be in P2. I tell you what, Albert, there's no way Albert's an AM. I swear I've seen him with a different badge on. But for an AM to be in the top 10, that's mega stuff.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if that was one of the Kunos things where it displays them with the wrong badge, but I did just go double check the entry list, and he does appear to be entered as an AM, so I don't recall if I have seen him with another badge or not, but yeah, maybe someone who's due for a class upgrade very quickly.
Wait, hold on. Has he... Why does his, like the antenna, like, whatever it is on top of that Merc, why does it stand out so much?
Because it has a light on it. I know electricity is a strange concept down in Tasmania, but it's lit up.
That is... I've never seen it that lit up before, though. That is crazy tall.
Yeah, I suppose you make it bright green. Yeah, that's one of the light options you can choose on the Merc there, is to have a lit up radio antenna. As, yeah, Race Control kindly points out, the Merc does have a lot of options for light. But that is one of them. It's almost like a locating beacon, just to make sure you never lose where that car is on track.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're not going to. You might, but you're not going to. So, Jed Coleman takes the fastest lap. And he's closing in fast on that wounded Honda. So, it's all... He'll be sweating, I reckon. I reckon he's clenched.
Yeah, absolutely. See, the gap has come down to 2.8 seconds, so it's going to be tight whether or not he's going to close up on the back of him here. He's going to have to basically do roughly a second a lap, I think, to get on the back of Hill here, but anything's possible depending on what we manage to say up here by the sounds of it as well. So it's definitely not over yet, this battle for third place.
Nah, it's not. And if... How many laps we got left? 3? 3 potentially? Wait, where is... Yeah, let's say 3, roughly.
3 or 4, yeah.
Yeah. So, it's still on. It's still on.
Yeah, as we see a 15-second penalty come in there for Andy Bishop from that move that we saw earlier from the Lamborghini there. So I think it's getting towards that time of the race where maybe we start to consider who your driver of the day might be.
I was going to put it as Rad. Like, it was going to be Rad. He was doing mega well. Look at it. Now it's red. Look at it. Look at it.
That's a different car, but we'll ignore that.
Is it? No, it's not.
Yeah, it was a Petronas Mercedes before.
Oh, well, okay. It's a different coloured Mercedes, but that's okay. It's a Mercedes nonetheless.
You're just forgetting which head has seen what car.
Yeah, look, I've got a couple of heads down here, so it's okay.
Yeah, I think Rad, unfortunately, without that mistake, it would have been a good shout. At the moment, I think my driver of the day is looking more towards Taufik. he started back in, was it 4th position, I think, and has managed to keep his nose out of trouble and push his way through to the field to see the other Mercedes come through with the green antenna this time. Yeah, Taufik has pulled away at the front there, 9 seconds back to Weatherburn, so barring any mistakes, brutal mistakes over the last couple of laps, I think we can be fairly sure this lead is safe. As I try my best to curse him here by the sounds of it. Yeah, I think Taufik has done an excellent job in this one, the Taufik Too Furious Ferrari.
Taufik Too Furious, he has all 8 gears intact, a bottle of NOS and the computer sitting there right in the car. It's all about family, baby, and a 10-second vehicle, and he's well on his way to a definitely solid strategic race win at Zolder. But the battle could still be on with a lap to go. Get 600 Bison power in that Ferrari. Nah, it'd be about 350, I reckon. The engine's not big enough, not enough cylinders to produce 600. But it depends. Giacomo has to go full send this lap.
Yeah, as we come on to what I think will be the final lap. Still 1.7 seconds, so I don't think Giacomo's going to be able to get onto the back of Graham Hill in this final lap here, unless something crazy happens, but you never know, he's a nod. So yeah, I think the podium should be okay for this one, as these gaps have sort of spread out. Yeah, as we see now, 10 seconds for Taufik back to Weatherburn, so still pulling pace away from Yoda right towards the end of this race, so absolutely mega performance from Taufik.
Yeah, absolutely, and he kind of hasn't put a foot wrong. Absolutely amazing kind of call on the pit lane to jump Hill there, and then a bit of sadness from Hill. Weatherburn with a consistent drive in P2 as well, so you can't you got to respect what he's done back there. Hill, what could have been potentially. Hopefully he holds out for 3rd as you watch. Coming across the line, it's Mr. Taufik Too Furious himself. Moyen Taufik through for P1. What a masterclass of a drive. Then we have Jake Weatherburn through for P2. Definitely well-deserved result. Let's see who comes across. There's the battered Honda. He's going to bring home for P3. JDM Power. Jack Homan, excellent drive back for P4. And then we're going to have King in the Mercedes, the red one, for P5.
Yeah, we have to remember that Giacomo started in 13th, so he's made up 9 spots at Zolder of all tracks, so definitely a commendable drive for him to make his way through the field. Maybe not quite as clean as he would have liked. A couple of little rough incidents there, but sometimes that's what happens when you get aggressive here. As Squires comes through to take P7 and Sacanius P8. Albert in AM class in P9, Thurcolini rounding out the top 10 there.
Yeah, as we jump on board, Blake Griffiths is going to come across the line, 2nd in AM, P11. If, as that Aston in the background decides that it doesn't want to be on track anymore for a brief second. P11, P12 coming across the... Weatherburn with a 10-second penalty. Is that going to drop him? It's not. Okay, that's a bit odd. It's not cool. Yes, it is. That's going to put Hill and Giacomo into P2 and P3. What happened there?
Is that a late call and penalty for that move we saw with Squires at the second chicane? I think it must be, because I don't think we saw him get into any other...
There's no... I'm going to keep my commentator's hat on.
Yeah, I think
I'm going to keep it on. I'm going to let the wonderful people down there look at the incidents, but I wonder if it is for that. So we'll see after the race. So do you want to run us through... Excellent race by everyone. Well done with Ben behind the cameras. Do you want to run us through the results boards, Liam?
Yeah, 100%. So amazing drive from Taufik there, taking the win, followed by Graham Hill, moved up to P2, and Giacomo onto the podium from P13. Weatherburn with that unfortunate penalty dropping down to 4th. And we have King, Vintner, in the top. Sorry, I was going through the top 10. King, Vincent, Squires, Socanius, Albert, and Thurkali. In silver class, we have Squires followed by Oliver. In Pro-Am, Socanius taking out the top of Pro-Am, followed by Atkins and Bishop. And then in our Am class is Albert, Rufus, and Graham rounding out your Am podium.
Yeah, absolutely. Good race by all involved. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in, and thank you for coming back to round 4 of the Octane Online Racing Simrigs Sprint Series. The guys over at Simrigs, definitely give them a shout. Definitely check out all their gear they've got there. Big shout out to Mr. Biglet behind the cameras. I don't normally give him praise, but I'll give him praise this one time. Definitely good behind the cameras and with the sticks. Massive shout out to Liam for joining me in the box tonight. Definitely a great call. And also everyone send your love and praise to Mullock through this trying time. We're thinking of you. And I guess everyone get ready for the next round next week.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, thanks everyone for joining us tonight. Great call from yourself as well, Connor. Pleasure to be up here in the box with you, and shout out to Ben behind the cameras with some amazing shots that we're seeing now. These scenic shots of the infamous wind turbines here at Circuit Zolder. But yeah, thanks everyone for joining us. Yeah.